Are you going to hit it? Yeah,
Hello.
I like our arpeggio music you got there.
The arpeggio. This is Unrelenting, number 3, Friday, November 12th, 2021. I'm Darren O'Neill.
We're temporarily back to Fridays.
Temporarily. But people don't know it's a time shift thing. And he's Gene Nevtuliev of the KGB Nevtulievs.
Oh, my God. There's no such thing as a KGB.
Not anymore, they say. But then again, they used to say there was no such thing as the NSA. So, I mean.
Right. No such agency.
Right. Doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to see here.
Nope.
Nothing to worry about.
Except for that tremendously large building in Utah. But otherwise, nothing.
No. Your city of Austin there canceled the Veterans Day parade. What a bunch of liberal douchebags.
They're total douchebags.
It was like, what? The quote that they put out for an outdoor parade, I thought was fantastic, which was, it was canceled because the city required organizers to verify all participants and spectators to either have a current negative COVID test or be vaxxed for the parade. So for an outdoor event,
they literally can't. I mean, it's bullshit. The only thing they're doing is flexing their muscle because you need to get the city's permit to do a parade, and the city can essentially object for any reason. Although I'd love to see lawsuits coming out of this. That would be so freaking awesome because Austin has the Army's Cyber Command headquartered here. So what they've basically said is a government organization that funnels literally tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars into the Austin ecosystem. Fuck your people. We don't give a shit.
Yeah. It turns out a lot of liberals do not like the military, and that's who runs Austin.
No, they don't like the police either. That's why we don't have any.
But now, did they do this? I mean, there had to be an LGBTQ parade sometime.
Oh, there's one every day, man. Come on, come on.
That's not
come
canceled.
On, man. No. You see, those parades, that's a different thing. That's a human rights issue.
See, there nobody gets sick. There's no problem with COVID in those things. Just
because people are double masked and triple masked.
Well, that's just for when they want to go rob the local 7-Eleven.
No, usually those are just single masks.
Oh, it's okay. See, they're smarter at least.
They are. They kind of are.
You need to get a little oxygen when you're walking briskly away with what you just stole.
Yeah, I loved. I saw a comic. This is a while ago when the first double mask thing hit from Fauci. The Death Doctor. The cartoon was somebody with like 25 masks, like passed out
or dead.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a weird thing.
They do say that carbon dioxide is a pollutant, and what better thing to do as a liberal than to not exhale?
Pretty much. And I wore a mask over the last few days more than I have throughout the whole pandemic.
Oh, you were robbing liquor stores.
I should have been. It would have been more fun. But
in Chicago, do you even get in trouble for that these days?
I don't think so. As long as you do it in the city limits, you're good.
I can't imagine that you can carry more than $500. Well, maybe you can carry more than $500 worth of liquor. Or is it more than what's the minimum charge these days?
I thought it was like under $950 or something.
Oh, there you go, dude. $1,000 of liquor. That's a good deal.
Yeah, I would just want like the $1,000 bottles. I'd be like, okay, which do you have one of those 900?
One bottle,
like a Pappy Van Winkle.
Yes, I would like to see a bottle of Pappy. Can I take a look at that, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Adios.
All right. Well, I appreciate your help, sir.
I'll be walking out with this.
I will be heading out. Yes.
Yes. While you carry, like, no, I'd like to, that's much easier. These guys that go in and take like a whole shelf worth of stuff in like 2 big hefty bags and it kind of starts weighing you down. No, that's inconvenient.
I don't think a bottle of Pappy would last these guys more than a day.
No, it wouldn't probably last us more than a day either if it was free.
Oh, no. Are you kidding? No, I certainly would take my time because that's certainly more of a slower drinking kind of bourbon.
It's a savoring bourbon.
Yeah. You don't just guzzle down like it's a bottle of Coke or something.
Or a line of Coke, that's totally
or
different.
line of Coke, which I would not guzzle either way, but
It's one way to do it. But
to guzzle the Coke,
right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how they used to do it. Put it inside the Coca-Cola, and boom.
They did indeed. I've never tried that. I wonder what that tastes like.
It was addictive, I guess, and that was maybe.
Well, and cocaine has a fairly bitter taste to it, so I don't know that as a food or drink additive it would be.
Well, if you throw enough sugar in with it, it probably balances it right out.
Well, that is what Coke did.
Yeah, and it works.
Coke version.
But at the funeral home for my brother-in-law's wake, you had to be masked, which just really bizarre.
Now, was this an Irish wake?
No, I wish it was. I wish it was, because those.
Because I wanted photos if it was, but okay.
Would have been a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And that is in the spirit of my brother-in-law, because he was always the guy that was making the inappropriate joke. That's what I told my nephew when we got to the funeral home. I'm like, this is weird, because usually your dad was the one making those jokes, like, oh, okay, you brought the fireworks, or, those kind. It was trying to keep things light, or playing the game of who was going to be the first one to say, oh, they look so good as they gaze upon the body. And,
now, is this expected or unexpected?
Very unexpected. Very unexpected. Last Saturday, they went out to dinner because, unfortunately, he had just turned 58 the weekend before on Halloween. And my sister's birthday was a few days after that. Her birthday is on the 4th. So they have the same birthday week. They went out with their kids and my nephew's fiance. They all went out, had dinner. And on the way back to the car, he was the last one behind them. And they turned around and he had collapsed, and that was it. When they got back to him, he was not conscious. So a massive heart attack, it appears. And he was working out right before they went out to dinner. So, I mean, he was a guy that was, pretty healthy.
I'm sorry, but the first thing that pops into my head is the image of John Candy playing a Chicagoan, and having a heart attack.
Well, yeah, John Candy was a little bigger. He was a big guy.
No, he's about your height.
Slamming the guys that did that with John Candy, maybe
the Bears,
that. Right? That whole bit. That's exactly what I was thinking. While they're having the big old, barbecued ribs, and then just slamming on their chest, going, "The Bears,
yeah,
the coach," that kind of a thing. So, it was not expected at all, which is the hardest part.
Now, incidentally, did somebody tell him cocaine is not particularly good for you when you're living in Chicago?
Nothing is good for you when living in Chicago. I think that's
probably true too.
That's kind of the problem. Going down into the loop is never good for you.
Or even up into the loop.
And the questions were asked, was this vaccine related? And I get it. People are following this.
Yes.
And the response to that would be highly, highly, highly unlikely, since he did not have a booster dose, and they were vaccinated back in March.
I've heard recently that vaccinated people actually transmit the boosters through aerosol these days.
The kind of stuff people
maybe
believe.
A good idea to start wearing
masks,
N95 masks around people that are vaccinated, because they are just constantly spewing these mRNA particles, just shedding them like crazy.
The stuff people believe about this is quite entertaining if it wasn't so sad. But
this part of it's true. I don't know what you're referring to.
They did not do a complete autopsy, because it's really what's the point, except to know, I guess, or for your kids moving forward, genetics and all this. Although, heart issues
doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, heart issues are heart issues.
Yeah.
The one interesting thing I will say was when my sister talked to their doctor, the only question, that he had was, well, did he have, a cold or anything recently? And I'm like, okay, well, that's, a strange thing to ask if you had a cold, although the fact was, I guess the doctor would figure they had been vaccinated. So maybe, if you're going to get COVID, the people get it with very minor symptoms and don't really even know. that they have COVID. Although when they had the cold a few weeks ago, they did get COVID tested, although that was negative. And we know the tests are garbage. But the reality of the situation is COVID-19 itself causes myocarditis in a lot more people than the COVID vaccines do, although nobody ever talks about that.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
Where'd you hear that? That's bullshit.
No, it's not bullshit.
Bullshit on that.
It is not bullshit. Do your research on it.
I've done more research than most people on this.
Eduardo Rodriguez is a Major League Baseball pitcher, and he was the first one. I remember seeing a story.
You're going to bring up one accident that.
Well, but here was a guy that was in his 20s at the epitome of health, got COVID.
What makes you think he was the epitome of health?
Because he's in really good shape.
Athletes are typically not at the epitome of health. They're stressing their bodies about 1,000% more than the average person.
But they're in better shape than you or I.
No. Having extremely high stress levels does not make you in better shape.
It all depends. I mean, you can kind of look in the mirror and then look at them and go, well, he's probably healthier.
But I outlived them, didn't I?
Well, I
outlived most people at this point in my life.
Well, I mean, until you go, you've outlived everybody.
Exactly.
Dying's the last thing you want to do.
Well, if it's not the last thing, then, then
there's a different conversation.
We could have a whole other podcast. Exactly.
Exactly. But, I've seen other cases of this where COVID-19 myocarditis is a symptom. It does happen. You probably don't get it caught with most people, because they're usually mild cases. And for most people, it ends up getting better. It's not something that is a permanent thing. It's an enlarging, a swelling type thing of the heart. And as you know, if you are working out or something like that, well, your muscles can get bigger and smaller. And then you can be, there's things that happen in the human body and then it regenerates and gets better. But this is myocarditis. Do the research. You'll find it if you look for it. I know
what myocarditis is, dude. It's an inflammation of the heart.
Right. And it's a symptom of COVID-19. And it happens when more people than the
life
vaccine
is a symptom of COVID-19.
Well, life is
literally.
Life.
I mean, COVID-19 is one of the least dangerous diseases that has a name out there.
Okay. So that's all you have. Okay.
No, I'm just saying the number of cases of myocarditis in the United States and the number of cases caused by COVID would show you that COVID is a very minor contributing factor here.
Right. But it does cause myocarditis.
No, it doesn't cause myocarditis. It's like saying that seatbelts cause accidents, because there are people that have car accidents with seatbelts and people that have them without. But more people are wearing seatbelts when they have car accidents than people not wearing seatbelts when they have car accidents. My point on this is that COVID has been so hyped up at being responsible for everything that it's time to start pulling back, because it's all bullshit. Most of it's coming out of Fauci's mouth. It's time to start actually looking at the science and not believing bullshit.
Well, I would agree. And there's a lot of craziness on both sides of what's being spewed out there.
So if the guy died from myocarditis, if that's what the autopsy showed.
Well, no, it didn't. It didn't, which I just thought it was a weird question.
Drag COVID into it then.
That wasn't what they said. It was just like, oh, did you have this? Like, to me, that question would lead me to believe that this doctor has seen many cases of people dying because of that. Because it's just a very weird question of, did you have a cold? Did he have a cold recently? It's like,
well, I don't think it's a weird question, dude. I think you're just not dealing with this type of stuff very often, because an inflammation is generally caused by either a virus or the body's response to bacteria. And if they don't find any bacteria, I think a virus is a very common question to ask.
I suppose, but that's not usually what people a year or 2 years ago. If somebody had a major heart attack, that wouldn't be the first question of, hey,
if they are, like you're saying, in good shape physically, that should be a question that would be asked, because again, it's an inflammation of the heart. So you got to look for causes of inflammation. And the most common causes of inflammation in people that don't have other comorbidities are going to be things like viruses and bacteria. And bacteria is easier to check for. So I'm sorry to be coming down on you, but this to me just sounds like a non-starter.
Well, I'm just saying it seems strange to me for that to be the question.
Okay. Well, did you enjoy the funeral at least?
It was, it was a very short funeral, unfortunately, because the church was walking distance from the funeral home. So we didn't get a chance to bump draft anybody, to have kind of fun that way. But
probably saves the cost of having a police escort.
Right. That is I guess that is the one beauty of the whole thing. But it was a nice service. And my nephew was able to get up and give a eulogy, which is rough. I said that to my wife. I'm like, this is something that my niece and nephew are going through in their 20s that both of us in our 50s have not gone through, which is, our parents are still alive. So it's like, that is I'm trying to wrap your head around that. And I know a lot of people lose their parents young. I didn't. My wife didn't. And, that is the tragedy of this whole thing is, my nephew's getting married in a year in April, and now his dad won't be there. There's everything that's going to happen from here on out. People talk about all this crap with COVID, like the new normal. It's like, this is for them, the new normal, which basically means it's going to suck, but there's nothing you can do about it, which is kind of the new normal we have with what's going on in the United States.
I think the new normal only has to do with government restrictions.
Well, don't forget the supply chain.
Yeah. Well, caused by government restrictions. Yes.
Right. But people just won't understand that, though.
But,
the average person.
But I just want to be clear, because we've talked about this in previous episodes as well, is that now that some time has gone by and the statistics have settled down, or not even the statistics, the numbers, the measurements, last year in COVID 2020, exactly the same number of people died that were predicted to have died following a straight line trend from the previous 5 years. COVID added no additional deaths last year. People were reclassified from dying of other diseases to dying of COVID.
Well, we know the flu didn't exist. The flu disappeared.
That's a huge win for us. I consider that a win for humanity, of course.
The flu disappearing?
It means how many people no longer have to bother taking flu vaccines now that flu's gone. I think that's a huge win.
Well, the planet got so much greener when everybody was home and not leaving the house.
Yeah, that's very true. And I would imagine that the temperature probably went down and the ice started reforming in the Arctic because of all those people that were being green.
It was so quick. It's amazing. But I'd like to know, I'm sure traffic deaths, I'm guessing, went down. They're probably on the rise again, though, because from...
everybody forgot how to drive.
Yes, that's what I'm hearing. I'm not on the roads, so
Well, I have to say, I think last year I put on about 2,000 miles in my car.
Is that normal? Is that high? Is that low?
That's certainly low. I don't usually do like 15 or anything. I probably do around 10,000 a year normally.
So it's interesting to see those stats. One, the flu disappearing, which anybody that has a brain will go, well, okay, this other virus is here, but that doesn't make this one disappear. That's not how it works. And all of this, people are they've gotten better, at washing their hands and wearing masks. That'll keep everybody from getting the flu, too. It's magic. It's like, but masks don't do shit.
Yeah. And the only bit of actual truth in there that if I wanted to try and make the argument for the other side is to say that if you are wearing a mask, you won't be touching your lips and mouth.
Ooh, I guess that's true.
So shit that you touch with your hands at the store, when you go grocery shopping or whatever, all these places where you might pick up some crapola just from touching things, at least you're not unconsciously rubbing your nose or mouth. So how do you prevent kids from, touching shit on the ground and then sticking their hands in their mouth? You put a muzzle on them. From that standpoint, masks do work. They just don't work for the other bits that they're trying to sell you on, which is preventing aerosol viruses from coming in, because masks are not filters.
Right. It's just, again, a training method then of keeping you from doing something you shouldn't do anyway. It's like everybody should know that if you're at the grocery store, and I mean, at least most stores now give you the false hope with the little thing of, hand sanitizer or the little wipes that you can wipe the cart down with. But
and I used to use those way before COVID. I mean, that's just good practice.
Yes. And you hope that those wipes are actually good and not just soaked in water because it's a lot cheaper for the store. But that concept of you shouldn't go grab something that somebody else was using 3 minutes ago and then rub your eye, put your hands in your mouth, lick, whatever.
Well, how many times have you seen during the course of your life study results talking about how over half of the adult population does not wash their hands after using the bathroom?
I know. It's, I don't.
Keep that in mind when you go to the grocery store.
Keep that in mind the next time you meet somebody and they want to shake your hand.
Why do all the stores have signs in the bathrooms that say employees must wash hands?
That's right. There's got to be a reason.
It's liability. That's the main reason.
So, I mean, I appreciate the hand sanitizers out there. And, I will say,
they do dry your skin out if you use them too much, though. Keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah. Oh, just washing your hands too much will dry your hands out. I guess depending on what kind of soap you're using, maybe. But at the start of the pandemic, where it's like wash. Yeah. See, well, you're supposed to use. See, this is how this stuff spreads.
Hold on.
Wait. You use soap on your hands?
Yeah. Really? I mean, that's the last thing you'd want to be doing.
Nobody ever thought of doing that before.
No.
But I think that has, I guess, at least taught people some things. Does fish oil kill germs?
No, it washes your hands really well.
Then they'd be a little slippery, wouldn't they?
Nope. That's the thing is fish oil has very similar characteristics to soap in that it's both, what's the phrase? Oliphobic and hydrophobic. So you can use fish oil to actually wash off other grease off your hands.
Interesting. I did not know that.
And it may not be all fish, but generally I will be cooking salmon. And I've noticed that every time I made salmon, all I have to do is just wash my hands in water with nothing else, and it acts just like soap.
So the fish itself is the soap.
All that soap is a particular type of fatty molecule that has another molecule attached that attracts water. So it's fat on one side and water on the other side of the molecule, and so you're grabbing things that normally water would not adhere to, because you're able to adhere to both water and lipids.
And then it rinses right down the drain.
Yeah, and goes, into a magic filter that then comes out of your water hose at your house.
I hope that's not the same water coming out of the faucets.
What water do you think is coming out of the faucets?
Well, there's sewer lines, and then there's
recycled water. Yeah, well, so what do you think happens to sewer lines?
Well, not here, because our water comes from Lake Michigan, baby.
What do you think goes into Lake Michigan?
All sorts of garbage.
Yeah. It's not just sewage, it's actually industrial dumping.
Upon filtered.
Yeah, well, I said filtered, didn't I? Yeah, it's the same exact water, though. I mean, it's just gone through a process of filtration. And the way they filter it is they take a whole bunch of K95 masks and just pour water through them.
Kind of. That's we were talking about that actually in the troll room before today's show. And if you're not in the troll room, you're missing out on the fun. We do these shows live.
Troll room?
Trollroom.io. I mean, it's a great place. You've been there, but you were permabanned.
Yeah. If I type that address into my browser, it tells me no such website. So
Trollroom.io is not working. Well, it's usually was noagendastream.com, but then Trollroom.io became the new
definitely not working for me. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a permabanned from it.
It could very well be. But we were talking about water quality because we live in an area that was originally well water, and well water sucks. Everybody that's ever had well water can understand.
Yeah, that would be the same water except without a filter.
Right. And it's horrible. And so we used to have the water softeners and all that. But now the water comes from Lake Michigan, except they never went
clean it.
You're right. They never went to the expense of replacing the piping. So even though it's Lake Michigan water, the toilets will rust within like weeks if you don't put crap in them to keep it from happening, where That doesn't happen at my parents' house.
Toilets will rust.
Yeah. The whole bottom of the toilet will start getting like a
They're
film.
made of ceramics.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Well,
Yeah.
it gets, but it's rust that's on the bottom that somehow just sticks to.
So you just have metal residue on the bottom of your toilet?
Yeah. It's whatever's in this.
And that's the water you're drinking?
Yeah. Well,
Are you insane?
After it's been filtered like 8,000 times, that's, but yeah, we do not drink the water until it's gone through at least a couple of filters.
I generally don't drink water unless it's distilled first.
Ooh, well, see, you're fancy.
Well, no, that's just the secret of long life.
Of not dying from heavy metal poisoning or whatever is in the.
Only drink water I don't trust filtered water. I only drink distilled water.
So you buy this in the bottle, or you distilling this yourself?
Oh no! I probably buy 6 gallons of water every time I go shopping.
But you could just make a still, and then you can make booze when you're not distilling your water.
I've done that in the past, but it's
so
easier
wait, whiskey?
to just buy it. No, I've never made whiskey. I did have access to. I guess technically, I still have access to friends have a whiskey company, so I could actually go make something.
Oh, was that the place that Brushwood was at?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that was a nice looking setup they had there.
Commercial. Mm-hmm.
That does look like a nice place. You should do. Can we get an unrelenting run of like bourbon or something that we could just
Yeah, it would cost significantly more than all the donations that have ever come in or will ever come in.
Oh, even will ever? Come on.
Oh, yeah.
You're being a little negative here.
No, I'm not. That's because getting certified to have your own whiskey that you're making is hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but we're not making it. They're making it. Can't we just snap it?
Oh, so you just want to put a label on somebody else's whiskey?
Yes.
I see. I thought you wanted to make your own.
No,
okay.
No, that sounds like way too much work.
Yeah, there's actually places that'll happily do that. They just take whatever it is that they're making and then charge you to slap a label on it.
You just come up with a concoction, maybe a mix, a couple things.
If only
together.
we knew in somebody that can, have any artistic talent.
Right. That's true. You can just concoct your own thing. Like I take the Michigan cherry coffee that we get from Meyer, and then you mix that in with a little peppermint mocha creamer. Oh, it's a delightful drink. You could put that in a bottle by itself.
Peppermint mocha creamer. Do you know that has neither peppermint nor cream in it?
Or mocha.
Nor mocha. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's like saying you eat at McDonald's.
Oh, no, that not
Pretty
for
much.
a long time.
Pretty much.
I used to love
creamer.
McDonald's as a kid. And I remember
everybody loved McDonald's as a kid.
Well, it was better, right? I mean, I'm not just imagining this.
I certainly think it was better.
I think the sodium content
I think that
has
Roy
gone up
Kroc
like
guy
10,000
just ruined
times.
it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You were around McDonald's before.
Back when that's when it was better.
Back before he bought it.
Yeah.
So you were living here in the Chicago area because that's where the first one was, wasn't it? Des Plaines, Illinois.
No, that's the first one was in California.
And then so once that was bought, the first one was here. That makes sense. But it's turned into nothing but a Salt Lick. I mean, I used to love a 9/4 pounder. It tastes like a Salt Lick.
It's funny you say that because Salt Lake is the name of a barbecue place here.
Well, it's probably good barbecue too.
Not really. It's my least favorite barbecue in Austin. It's a really a fun experience. It's kind of a bit of a tourist trap.
Oh, there you go.
It's out of ways. It's like past the Wizard Academy and stuff, but it's a BYOB place. You know what that means, right?
Yeah, you bring your own booze while you're having your barbecue
because they don't have a liquor license. But
so you bring a few friends and you can get a little
literally rowdy. Across the driveway is a liquor store that they own.
That's convenient. Oh, wait, they own it too?
Oh, yeah.
That's convenient.
And so you can buy cold beer at the liquor store and then cross the path to be on the restaurant property and have that liquor with your brisket or whatever else.
Is the cold beer like 10 times the price of the warm beer too?
There's no warm beer. It's literally a place meant just for you to buy liquor from, but it's just separate physically. So that's a different license.
Wouldn't it just be easier to get a liquor license if you have one?
No, apparently it's not. They do a fairly large amount of food sales there.
We're back to government regulations, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's cheaper for them to have an off-premises liquor license than to have an on-premises liquor license. Hence, they're doing it that way.
And then you're not responsible if somebody goes out and kills a family of 6.
BYOB is totally a thing. And there are plenty of restaurants, although not inside the city, but certainly on the outskirts, which BOB is perfectly fine. So you can go eat at a sushi place and then bring your own sake.
Makes sense.
As an example.
I get it. It makes sense. But, I mean, the party can really happen when you have a liquor store there. So, I mean, nobody's going thirsty. It's not like, oh, I forgot.
Oh, I'll just go. No, they can. Yeah, you just pick it up right there. So it's a neat experience. It's very much, it's almost like right out of Dukes or Hazzard or something. You know, it's like out of a movie set. Everything's just kind of rickety wood. They probably can seat somewhere around 600 people. And then the cooking process looks really nice. But as far as actual food taste, they're much, much better barbecue places. I personally have had the best experience in barbecue places that can't seat more than 15 people.
Oh, yeah, like the Mexican places here. That's the best. The little hole in the wall that isn't a big, like 100 people in the dining room at any given time. The little strip mall places are usually the best for that.
I don't know about strip malls, but certainly smaller size restaurants for sure.
You got to have a nice big barbecue pit out and back. When you can smell it from like miles around.
You got to be able to smell it first.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I mean, everybody in the troll room has been talking about this Rittenhouse case. I haven't really been following this.
Yeah. So who's this Rittenhouse? What's the deal?
Who is this Rittenhouse? So, okay, we know you're not that disconnected from what's been going on, but I hear that the trial's been
full of mistakes,
eventful. Yeah.
On both sides.
When
they should have never let him get up and to
take the stand himself.
Yeah, he really. There's no reason for it. That was stupid.
Well, because I believe, again, I'm not a lawyer. We are not here to give you legal advice.
No, we always say that.
Legal advice from us. You have bigger problems. But
and so do we.
Right. From what I know, the only reason a defendant should ever take the stand is if
they're innocent.
Well, no. Oh. No. That's completely wrong.
Oh.
Because everything can be twisted and you have to answer honestly. Well, if you don't, you have other issues.
Mm-hmm.
And you never ask a question as a lawyer unless you know the answer to it.
That's what they say.
Because that'll get you into trouble. But the only reason you really want to put somebody on the stand is if you don't have a case otherwise. And I kind of see what they were going for here because it's a young kid. I think they realized he was going to break down on the stand. And I don't think this was theater in any way. I think this was an honest reaction. And they knew that they would get this and probably garner sympathy from the jury. But this seems to be such a clear case that you didn't need that. And by putting him on the stand, you open him up to saying the wrong thing, saying something stupid. To me, the only guy they needed, once they had the witness of one of the 3 guys he shot, which the questioning was fantastic, which was, well, I'm paraphrasing here, of course, but it was so he didn't fire upon you until you were pointing a gun at him and moving towards him. And the guy's like, that's correct. I mean, that's all you need. I mean, what more do you need than one of the guys you shot admitting that he was pointing a gun at him? And
what about the other 2 guys?
I don't know what happened with those. I haven't been following closely enough, but that one guy,
one of them is dead, I'm pretty sure.
So I guess he's not talking.
But I can't remember if he killed 2 or just one person.
I believe he shot 3. I don't know if 2 are dead and the only one was alive.
Well, the trolls will know.
They'll know because they've been watching this, man. This is like must-see TV.
Well, it's in your backyard, too. It's right next door to you there in Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin hater. 2 are dead, and one is missing a bicep, according to I Have No Name.
They didn't have either of the dead ones probably testifying, I would imagine.
They were not able to do so. And the one that did admitted that they were basically attacking this guy at the time. So, I mean.
Well, I don't know how much. Why would you even put somebody on the stand when you have video that literally shows what happened?
Well, see, that's the problem. I mean, if you look at the video, and this was interesting. I mean, if we were a clip show, which we may be at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I'm playing it right now.
I'm hearing nothing. So if you're playing clips, I don't know.
Yes, well, it's coming in through different headset.
Well, okay, so you can hear it, but this is bad podcasting, Gene. When the audience can't hear.
Don't interrupt. I'm trying to listen. Hold on.
When the audience can't hear, Gene, it's not very good to have clips.
Wait, as long as I can hear it, I don't see the real problem here.
It's a different show when that happens.
Watch the host. Listen to audio that you can't hear.
But right, this is why we need video. Watch Gene listen to something you can't hear now.
Exactly
on the No Agenda stream.
Super awesome. But only available for sporters.
But the point was O'Reilly had a clip of how the media covered this.
Oh, do you have a clip of O'Reilly?
No, I said if we were a clip show, I'd have this. But he had the clip of all the mainstream media covering this when it happened. And now you're hearing a completely different story.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure No Agenda played that clip because I heard that when I was listening to No Agenda Live.
I believe it. It was an important thing because this is how things get so distorted.
Yeah, the media is reporting that Kyle Rittenhouse was
he was a white supremacist.
Yes, the white supremacist Nazi Rittenhouse, who is
just wanted to shoot people.
Yeah, teenager on a rampage in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
that he was shaken visibly when confronted by his victim, who he had managed to not kill, but simply mutilate and prevent that person from ever working for the rest of his life. And I believe the alleged victim there is suing the city of Kenosha for $4 million as a result of that.
Right, because, having a gun in your hand and going at somebody, you're not responsible if you get shot.
Let's be clear. He didn't have a gun in his hand. He was a felon with a gun in his hand.
Right. But Kenosha will pay off because all these cities are morons.
I don't think Kenosha's going to pay.
You don't?
No, not after this trial, not after he admitted that he was in the middle of a criminal action when he received his shot. I don't think at that point, Kenosha Insurance, well, let's put it this way. There's no insurance company that'll pay it. Kenosha may decide to jack their taxes up and pay it, but no insurance that Kenosha has been paying for is going to cover that.
And if we all remember, this was the result of previous riots.
Mm-hmm. In that little podunk town for that had nothing to do with anything except, well, it did have a cop, but it's basically the whole country was swept up in two things, COVID and rioting.
Right. The George Floyd riot started it. This was as a result of another guy getting shot by the cops.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
And cops shoot people all the time. Like, how is this a new thing?
It's not. But video of this stuff is a new thing, and framing it just like they framed what happened to Rittenhouse. The media frames it in such a way which is just disgusting because truth is not out there anymore. Everything has to fit the right narrative that, if a cop shoots an unarmed guy, I want to know about it. On the other side of that, if there's a guy with a gun and the cop ends up shooting him, I think it should be forefront in the story that, the guy had a gun and fired on police, but that's not how it's reported anymore. And that is an issue because you can't get to the truth if you're only reporting part of what's going on. But that's what we're getting with a lot of this stuff of just the reporting of part of what's going on. In this case, this kid went up there to, or at least what he's saying, to protect the businesses which we had seen in other nights.
No, but this kid is the guy that this criminal shot is who you're describing here, clearly.
No, I mean, Rittenhouse is the guy.
Rittenhouse, the Nazi criminal, went up to do what now?
He showed up with his gun because he wanted to protect the businesses.
He showed up with his gun. Well, he must have brought that illegally across the border.
Which he did, of course, because he was 17 and bringing a firearm over state lines at 17. Not a good idea. Not legal. I'm surprised you can even own a firearm. I don't think you can under 18. And you can't have a concealed carry. I don't know if you can even own a pistol in Illinois.
Are you doing a bit right now, or you actually don't know this stuff?
I'm not sure. I think it's 18 and over.
First of all, he didn't bring any guns across the border.
Kyle Rittenhouse didn't?
No. Are you not plugged at all into this story?
No, I have not been following this.
No, he had met up with his buddy in Wisconsin, and his buddy said, hey, let's go protect these businesses, and here's a gun that you can bring.
So it was his buddy's gun. He did not bring
correct
a rifle. See, but the mainstream media, all I've heard.
I know that's because they like reporting lies. That's what they do. That's why they're called the mainstream media.
Interesting. Yeah. Because that was all I've heard was that he brought
no gun. Secondly,
he brought a gun, not over the state lines. He did bring that gun to the riot.
I don't know the Wisconsin laws nor the Illinois laws, Illinois proper, but in many states, when you're 16, you can buy long guns, which is rifles and shotguns. You can't buy pistols. And at 18, then you can actually buy all firearms.
And then I know here it's at least then 21 to get your concealed carry. So there's
the concealed carry, which very few states have at this point.
Well, except for the ones that are run by Nazi cadroons like that.
Yeah. I mean, these days, most states are going to a no permit required status.
Yeah, knock yourself out, carry.
Mm-hmm.
Not Illinois. No, they're
worried. That's why when you see Adam walking around, he's always packing.
Yes. Do not sneak up on the Podfather. Be very careful.
And I think that'd be hard to do.
Because, I mean, this is what's, the world you live in now. It's a little bit crazy.
Yeah. It's a little bit crazy. I've got friends in places you wouldn't think they'd be walking around with guns that are packing these days.
Yeah, and rightfully so.
Portland and Seattle.
Well, I have a story that I pulled from Seattle, which I didn't realize things were going this poorly in Seattle, which is
you need to hang out with Bemrose more.
Right.
Let fill you in.
I mean, I'm not going to Seattle, though, especially after hearing stories like this, which is this was an article from the Daily Mail. Seattle now so dangerous it can no longer protect its own workers. They're providing security guards. So they're hiring a security guard staff to walk county staffers to their cars or to public transportation or the ferries because that's how bad crime is in Seattle.
Well, because they fired all the cops.
Well, defunding the police. That's probably why.
But all those cops got jobs as private security that pay better.
To make more money. Right. Yeah.
Which they're now being hired by the city.
To do the same thing.
To do less work. For higher pay.
This does seem like a good idea.
Because you see, the cops always were working these jobs, just doing it part-time as a second job.
Right.
Now this is their full-time job. Yeah. So, I mean, not much has changed other than going from full-time cop to part-time security to just being full-time security.
But it's bad when they have to hire security guards to protect the workers.
But you know the difference here.
No.
Well, the security guards are only protecting government employees.
That's true. If they see somebody getting attacked 3 feet away, it's like
that's not their problem.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. So that's the whole irony. Is basically the overlords have decided that the plebs, the peons, the serfs don't need police protection, but of course they still do. So they've removed police protection from the populace and only increase their own police protection through a private police force.
And they're
perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
Perfectly reasonable.
Oh, yeah. Everybody else, they're on their own.
Now, if they can only just get the serfs not be allowed to carry guns, it'd be great.
They're trying. Man, are they trying. But, I do agree that it's going to be a very interesting year before the midterms. Because there's two ways right now.
Oh, you mean by 2022, the year?
Yes. by next year's election in November, which is about a year from now, that the people that now, if this was a normal election cycle in the United States and one side or the other took a drubbing like the Democrats just did, they would look at that loss and go, what do we need to do to make sure the next election we get more votes? Now, let's just take the cheating aspect out of this for fun.
Well, that's really the only way to get more votes.
It kind of, because in this case, what would normally happen if you were a president like Biden and in your first 10 months, you went all the way to the left, like Joe has done, your approval numbers plummeting. The latest Rasmussen had him at 41% there of approval rating.
You're still beating your vice president by 15 points.
Well, there was a USA Today poll that had Biden at 38 and had Kamala at 28, which is interesting. We could talk about that in a second too. But so if you're those people, the president and vice president, the policies you put in for 10 months took you from a pretty strong win. Again, take the cheating concept out of this, because I know a lot of people believe that, but they still, even by the popular vote won like 7 million more. So, I mean, they had a decent amount of people voting for them or cheating, whatever. But what you see then, when your approval rating drops like that in 10 months, and you had been pushing all the far left stuff, normally you would go, wow, we need to centralize a little because people are revolting about what we're doing. And the fact that gasoline is like doubling in price and to heat your homes like 100% more, whatever it is, it's going way up. But instead of doing that, I think what you're going to see in the next year is the crazy far progressive left realizes they've already lost in a year. So everything that they want to try to push, this is the last year to do it. This is their last chance for a long time. And I think we've just started to see the crazy stuff, or do you think I'm way off?
I think we're going to see the crazy stuff, but for a different reason, because I don't think they think they're losing.
Oh, so you think they're that delusional?
I think what they're seeing is that the right Nazis are on their last breath and they're giving it everything they've got, which is the only reason that some of the liberals lost. That would be my impression of the way they see it. So they're on the winning streak. This is the last gasp for the Republicans, and then it's completely over. There will be nobody left on that side of the aisle. And so during this last big gasp, it's their one last chance to push. Otherwise, everything's going great for the Democrats.
See, that's scary. But I mean, it does kind of go along with what you're being fed. Jimmy Kimmel was one of the few people that actually mentioned Kamala Harris's approval rating. And I mean, anybody that goes to Kimmel for their news gets what they deserve. But in his monologue where he mentioned it, he made a joke that I think Dick Cheney's approval rating was higher after he shot somebody, so, that shows you how low Kamala Harris's polling numbers are at 28%. And he's like, well, why is this? He's like, well, besides sexism and racism, there's this, and this. And it's like, really? Do you think people aren't approving? Do you think Jimmy Kimmel really believes that there's sexism and racism involved? I don't think he does, because it doesn't make sense. It's the same reason all these people that talked about it was racism that, people didn't like Barack Obama's policies, yet he was elected and then reelected in a landslide. But then the country became really, really racist. It was strange how that all worked out. The concept that people are looking at Kamala Harris and thinking it's because she's a woman or because of the color of her skin is why they don't like her. No, she keeps giving people reason after reason. Did you see the video of her talking to the scientists in Paris? It was.
I did not.
I wish I had a clip. because she was talking in a fake French accent, slowly like you would talk to a third grader.
Jimmy Kimmel, that's the guy that wore blackface and
Yes.
had a show about women bouncing up and down on trampolines,
Yes,
right?
the Man Show. Him and Adam Carolla worked together.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's that guy. He's gone far. He's gone far to the left.
Yeah, it sounds like a sexist pick to me.
He is, I would think, but he gets away with it. Why? Because he spews what they want. Maybe this is what he has to do for them not to start showing all those videos. Because he did, it was Karl Malone that he used to do the impression of with the blackface. And I mean, now that's certainly not acceptable, which, I get, but this is comedy, and comedy is not pretty. And when you start shutting all this stuff down,
I haven't seen any comedy on broadcast television for decades.
No, and did you notice?
And by not seen, I mean it doesn't exist.
Right. And did you notice this year? I don't think there were any new sitcoms. There's some new programming, but sitcoms are dying. And I don't think it's because people don't want to laugh. I just think it's because these writers are unable to produce any content that's funny.
Millennials are just not funny. I mean, that's just a truth.
What they've been pushing is not funny. What they've been pushing is completely one-sided, and I'm all for everybody being treated equally. That was Martin Luther King. That's what he wanted, was for his kids to live in a world.
He was a racist.
Of course. Well, he was one of the original white supremacists, if you listen to the millennials today.
True. That is true.
And it makes zero sense, this concept that we have to overcorrect.
The previous generation of liberals knew enough to call him an Uncle Tom. The current generation doesn't even know who Uncle Tom is, so they're just calling him a white supremacist.
Well, we have Uncle Joe now. I mean, he's in the White House.
Yes, and he likes to smell children.
He's taking care of everybody.
And his children love losing their personal items with all kinds of personal information on them.
Oh, you're talking about the diary.
Mm.
I don't see these things, the laptop and the diary. I also understand, especially when it comes to the laptop, that things can be doctored, things can be altered, things can be made to look like what they're not. I understand deepfake's been covering that for years. I've done multiple episodes on that. Now, a handwritten diary is a little bit of a different story. How this, got into the hands or out of her hands is an interesting story as well. And I'm guessing that is, part of this deal. But it's also kind of creepy to be using that kind of evidence or whatever you want to call it against somebody, because there's no really pointed things in there. There's, at least from what I've read, there's vagaries, but, we're really kind of going down the...
Wait, did you steal her diary?
No.
Are you admitting to this?
No. I'm admitting to reading things mainly in the mainstream media about this one.
Well, I don't think that her accusations of pedophilia are particularly light.
Certainly not light, no. If that is in what is in there.
Allegedly.
Right. Again, do not take legal advice. Or
I don't hear any legal advice.
Do not listen to anything that the mainstream media says. Always a good idea, but it's the whole Hunter Biden thing. It's like, okay.
Well, I think the big issue with the diary has nothing to do with the diary. It has to do with the fact that that Biden is militarized the FBI to go after journalists when they literally did not publish anything from his kids.
Well, Obama did the same thing.
Well, yes, and then the conspiracy theorists out there would say, "Aha, that's because Obama's still running things. Joe's just a shell."
Well, that there's a lot of evidence that would support that.
This is Obama's third term.
Biden again, though,
and I've heard more inklings of Obama throwing his hat in the ring and running again.
Well, Michelle.
Well, no one's going to vote for her. That's just a given.
Well, see, that was the interesting thing. There was a Washington Examiner story that had a Zogby poll about, hey, who do you want to run? If you're a Republican, who do you want to run? If you're a Democrat, who do you want to run? Now, the Republicans, it was Donald Trump.
No, that's a bullshit poll. If
all
real
polling is bullshit.
any real Republican, if you ask him, who would you like to run next election? The answer is Michelle Obama.
Well,
there's nobody would be easier to defeat.
That may be why. In the Zogby poll, likely Republican primary voters the question was, for whom would you vote if the primary or caucus was held today? Donald Trump got 59%.
Yeah, that's Democrats voting right there.
12% then to Mike Pence, which means anybody after Trump on this list.
I mean, that's literally Mike Pence's family that was in that poll.
12%.
Because there's nobody in the United States that would vote for him. Not after the way he treated Trump, and frankly, not even before that.
Now, for the Democrat voters, 40.2% Joe Biden, which really, you think after the first 10 months here, that in 3 years, this is still going to be the guy? He can't even make a sentence now. It's very strange. But the most interesting thing on the Democrat side was, and I agree, all polling is ridiculous, but number 2 on the list at 20%, Michelle Obama.
Now,
yeah,
that's Republican votes right there.
Probably. Although Michelle Obama is probably smarter than Barack Obama.
No way in hell.
I know somebody that knows them and has known them for years. And that's his contention.
By extension, so do I, because I know you and you know somebody that knows them. Therefore, I can tell stories about knowing somebody that knows them.
That knows somebody that knows. Right.
Yeah,
there's one extra step.
Yeah.
But this guy, again, knows them pretty well. And that was his takeaway, is that she's actually a smarter person than Barack. So I think she could do it. But
no, she can't.
Well, the Democrats may believe she can. And they voted in.
Let's hope so.
They voted in Biden with Kamala Harris. So, there's that.
Well, they did, because that way Biden's basically doesn't have anybody hoping that he croaks.
Well, Kamala Harris is that insurance policy.
She is absolutely an insurance policy. And just like Mike Pence was an insurance policy, nobody wanted him to be president.
But the
Democrats didn't even want him to be president.
But there was not that emotional, this guy would ruin the country as much as you're getting with Kamala Harris. People didn't really want him because he's boring.
This is my pet theory, and I may be wrong on this, but I think I'm right, is the most people in most elections vote against somebody, not for somebody.
That's interesting. I think
for president. Local offices, you don't have enough people you dislike to vote against somebody. But for an office like president, where the people are high enough profile, you're voting against somebody. And I think that's always been the case. Who was running against Obama? Do you remember?
For a re-election or for original?
Either or.
Well, that would have been, in the primaries, it was him and Hillary.
No, not the primaries, obviously. No, I mean, who was he running against?
Wasn't it Dole? No, that was Dole and I don't know. Now that you've asked the question, I'm blanking. Who was it?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Okay,
but that's my point. It's clear? No, I think it was that Mormon guy.
That Mormon. Oh, yeah, Mitt Romney.
Yeah, Romney, exactly. So I would rather have a black Democrat socialist in power than that Mormon guy.
Oh, well, there's a show opener.
Is what I read in the newspaper. So I think a lot of people probably thought that way. That honestly, there's the two people that ran against Obama were not just rhinos. They were literally the two worst people that are higher profile in the party. It was John McCain and that Mormon guy.
Right.
That's like, you couldn't give Obama a better softball than that. Twice.
No, and Obama, interestingly enough, ran pretty much as a centrist. So,
I don't know about that.
By Joe Biden standards, he ran as a centrist.
Well, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you ain't black.
Right. Well, that's what Joe says.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think.
But I remember this in the first election when Obama was still campaigning. I did a little bit of background research on him, and I predicted to both my liberal and conservative friends that when he gets elected, because that was pretty obvious he was going to get elected, that he will be nowhere near as liberal as the liberals think he is. And there will be plenty of things that he does militarily that will make the war hawks more happy than they would have been with the alternatives. And I think I was right on both those points.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. But because there was nothing in his background, like described as community organizer. Okay. So he was basically a prostitute in Chicago. That's, it's a euphemism to call him a community organizer, but I guess he got, made a lot of people happy. Got that going for him. But if you look at what Obama's actual record is, he was not an ideologue.
He had almost no record. That was the other thing.
Well,
state senator.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. He had introduced the least number of legislation, least number of bills in his term of anybody.
So there was really a lot of question. He was the best candidate because there was not a record.
Well, there was not a record, but again, like push comes to shove, there's no way I would ever vote for McCain over Obama.
Well, Obama was a much more eloquent speaker than McCain.
It doesn't matter. Obama could have been an IQ of 80 idiot, and I would still not vote for McCain. McCain was just bad for the country in so many ways.
And Obama arrived at the right time where you had a nation that people on both sides, people that consider themselves Republicans, voted for him because it was sending a message that it was time that the United States is beyond the petty racism that exploded the minute Obama got elected, which is really weird.
I think that that's just a consequence of who he ran against.
It's possible.
If Obama ran against Ronald Reagan, Obama would have never been anything but a blip in history.
And they would have never put him out there against Reagan, which is also this is kind of like releasing record albums now. I mean, which I know nobody buys because it's all streaming.
Mm-hmm.
But the re-release of Taylor Swift's Red came out today, which I think it was pushed up it must have been pushed up because next week, I believe it is, Adele has an album coming out. It's all a competition. They don't want to go head to head because they want to win. So I think you're absolutely right. It is also a big part of who they're running against.
Yeah.
That,
I mean, honestly, if Clinton ran against Reagan, Clinton would have been a blip in history and nobody would have known who the hell he is.
Which is why, I mean, do you think the Democrats really thought Joe Biden, Kamala Harris had a chance? Or was this the
because so many people, there's two factors. One is so many people were vocal in their dislike of Trump. And secondly, is they knew that this whole machine was operating in order to reinforce the election. So it was a guaranteed win. There's no way they could have lost.
What happens if Biden is still alive? And I don't know how he would be, but let's just pretend Biden's alive and somewhat able to function mentally, which I'm doubting. But if he is, when this next cycle comes around, do you think this is Biden, Trump 2.0? Another?
No. I don't think Trump will run. If Trump runs, he will lose. I don't think that Biden's going to run. I think they're going to run a millennial.
So you think they're actually going to have a sitting president?
They're doing tryouts right now.
And not run him for re-election?
Absolutely.
When is the last? I'm not a great history scholar here. When is the last time that happened?
that we had a non-sitting or
sitting president not run for re-election.
It's like
it's been a while, right? I mean, I don't remember it happening in my life.
Did Ford run against Carter? I can't remember. I don't think he did he?
Well, he had. Would he just have the 1 term, 1.5 or whatever he had?
He just had the 1 term.
He may not have. That may have been the last one.
Yeah. Hey, it happens.
It's rare.
It happens for gubernatorial offices a lot more frequently.
Well, that would make sense. But president, I mean, once you get that power, Gene, you want to keep that power.
Yeah, but I think the deal that was made with Joe is the machine will work to get you in there for 1 term. I think that was the deal. And I think Joe wants his full term. I don't think he wants to start giving that up.
Well, yeah, the replacement would be horrible. I mean, the fact that, one, his numbers have crashed, but can you imagine right now if they're like, well, no, Kamala's just going to take over. If Joe doesn't die, the Kamala taking over, that's not going to go.
Can you imagine the executive orders coming out of President Kamala?
Oh my gosh, that would not be pretty. I mean, it would be a.
Well, I would imagine she would probably put an executive order to start ensuring slavery has a comeback because her family was
slaves, right?
Running a lot of those operations in Jamaica.
A lot of people didn't cover that. We did. We covered it on Grumpy Old Ben's.
Yeah, we covered it on my podcast as well.
And we are now unrelenting. And if you haven't gone and subscribed under the new name, unrelenting.show, or just search for Unrelenting in your favorite podcasting app. We're now on Apple. I don't know if we were. Was that last week when CSB's like, oh, you're not on Apple? CSB
said we weren't. Well, I appreciate the fact that he checked.
I do too, because
we're also, and then now you could just go to unrelenting.show. And
there's a link to our locals there as well.
But that will you could go there and then they'll have links to everything. Although the graphic is way too big. It's almost shocking when you open the website and you're just like pushed back in your chair. It's like, whoa.
That's how it is. It's unrelenting.
It's kind of big. Or you can just go to unrelenting.locals.com as well, which is where we put up content, both free content for everybody, as well as some specialty content like photos from the 1970s of your hosts. By the way, I'm still waiting for a photo of you from the 1970s.
You mean in 1971, I would be 1. So I'll have to go looking for.
I mean, okay, it doesn't have to be from 1971, but put a photo of you, from the late 70s or something in there. Let's give our people something to strive for.
People are clamoring.
As a reward when they donate to this show.
That makes sense. And we don't, whatever you do, don't post your OnlyFans stuff there, Gene. People aren't ready.
Well, no, that's worth a lot more than the $10 here and there that we get on this show.
Now Biden was taking heat for this, and this is what makes me hate following all of this kind of stuff. It's the same thing that makes me hate all of the COVID stuff, that Biden went off script, which for Biden, that's never good to go off script. But he was the Veterans Day ceremony that he was at, and he was making some comments, and he decided to morph into a story about Negro League's legend, Satchel Paige. And again, if we were a clip show, I'd have the clip, but we don't. But what he ended up saying, and I could tell what he meant to say immediately, but the headlines, including on the one site that I follow, which is a very right-leaning Drudge Report now, which is offthepress.com. But it's very much set up like the Drudge Report, but it is biased way to the right. So you follow the Drudge Report, which seems to be biased way to the left now, or at least somewhat to the left.
Yeah, it used to be biased towards the right.
Yes.
I swear to God, that only changed when people found out that Matt was gay.
Was it? That was when people jumped?
I think that's when it flipped. I mean, that's what Matt flipped, is that up until he was in the closet, everything was coming out as pro-conservatives. How many times did Rush talk about the Drudge Report?
A lot. Well, that was the whole, that started with the Lewinsky deal.
He promoted the hell out of the Drudge Report. Drudge Report was quoted on the right as much as Perez Hilton was quoted by the fanaratis out there, everyone following what's going on in Hollywood. He was on all the time. And when it came out that Matt was gay, I don't think a whole lot of Republicans really gave a shit, frankly, at that point. But somehow Matt's politics changed.
Which, and a lot of these guys, I don't know if they're doing it for the money, because the Drudge Report made a lot of money. And
they did. And it was a one-man operation for a long time.
Yes. Well, that's all what news media is now. It's about the money. They need to bring in the eyeballs.
And the Drudge Report was never a report. That's the irony of it. The Drudge Report was a links list.
Always a links list, and which was easy for one person to run, because all you really had to do was read the news. Now,
it's almost like having a No Agenda social with one user that just posts his crap on there all the time.
Well, that's exactly what it is. People have tried to crowdsource these kind of things, which is, if you had the ability to just have a page like that of the most shared links of something like No Agenda Social over the last 24 hours, would be very similar.
Well, most of those are nudes, but yeah.
Well, that's okay. You might have to have a better filtering system, but they're in the business to make money. And if Drudge saw, well, you know what, we're making more money by pushing the stories, and everything's clickbait now. That's why it's horrible. But Drudge has a very complete list of the stories people are following from his site. And the more times you're following these links, the more times you come back to Drudge. If every time you go to Drudge, you're like, this is all boring. None of these stories interest me. I'm not clicking on them. He's not making money.
I've very rarely gotten any value of Drudge. And I started going there back in the Rush early days. And it was always like, well, shit, this is literally something I already read. Yes. I always felt like going to Drudge Report was simply looking at my history in my browser. Like, dude, been there, done that. I don't get it.
If you're following the news, you've probably already heard most of what's going on most of these sites. Off the Press is not that much different in that regards. But in this case, the headline was, Joe Biden proves himself to be a racist again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bullshit. This is where I get.
Can we get back to Matt Drudge, though?
Well, sure. Do you want to finish up on Drudge?
The one thing I always thought was it was not a surprise that he was gay, because when Drudge, he had a show for a very short period of time. When
he was androgynous.
No, he wasn't androgynous at all. No, he was extremely well dressed. He had a good sense of style for clothing.
And that's how you knew?
I did not know, but it made me go, oh, well, that makes sense.
You're like, that guy's fashionable, must be gay.
No, it's like, if Drudge was unkempt and then it was, announced that, oh, yeah, it turns out he's gay. It's like, really? I would have had that reaction. Most gay men that I know they care a lot more about their looks than straight guys. And so consequently, you
are totally straight, Gene. That's what you're telling us.
I'm straight enough. I have been known to dress well sometimes.
No, that's a red flag.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I don't always just wear a t-shirt and a baseball cap, because that would mean I'm like pure 100% straight, I guess.
Well, you're right. What about a hockey jersey? Would that fit in?
I've never worn, well, no, I should say I wore hockey jerseys, but only while playing hockey. I've never worn one just for fun.
Not even going to a game? That was always fun, going to Blackhawks games.
No.
I always loved throwing out a jersey.
I've never understood that for any sport. I reserve the right to wear sporting clothes for the people actually on the field, not the people around the field.
You don't think the whole stadium should be filled with people in hockey jerseys as they want?
Absolutely
to do?
Not. Absolutely not.
They shouldn't bring their own hockey sticks.
Do you think everybody going to an MMA fight should just take their shirts off?
Yes. The women would be okay.
Yes. The 3 women there? No.
And those are probably the ones you don't want to see with their shirts off anyway.
Well, there's also
I have just insulted all women who watch MMA fights.
Oh, my God. I can't believe you. You've just killed our audience.
Yeah. No, they'll kill me.
They should.
Those would be badass women.
Yes.
But
then I'd have to consider, what would I do with our show if you just disappeared.
We should probably have a prenup of some sort.
Too late.
We've already been nupped. Yeah.
No, I think I would probably just get a different host is my guess.
That would be the best way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Be unrelenting, Gene. If you stopped, then you would be relenting. And that would go against everything.
Well, if it's a successful show, there's really no reason to stop.
Has any show you've ever been on been a success, though?
Well, I think the question kind of has the answer built in of having been.
Right. So no.
Like if I'm still not on a show, then maybe not so successful.
Yeah. A little less successful than the Drudge Report, the shows we've done so far.
Although I would do a show with Matt Drudge. Because I don't care if he's gay, but I don't know that he would care that I have my politics, though.
And the question then becomes on why, for these sites, especially when you're a one-man show, what is making it to the site is very biased because it's what one person wants to send you to. So even
if very curated, but that's also the attraction is that it's curated.
And if you trust that person or that group, then it's a great place to go.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to stop them, as the Drudge seemingly went from one extreme kind of to the other, which I think that was just anti-Trumpism, which is fine. I mean, just because you don't like Trump. But then you see the news is changing and what they're sending you to is changing. And it's nice to have something on both sides.
I don't think Drudge was ever anti-Rhino. Like, I think Drudge was always the big R Republican a lot more so than a libertarian Republican. So Trump was very much somebody that was a bull in the china shop disrupting the normal Republican Party. So I could see Drudge disliking Trump. And then I think the swing further to the left was the result of Trump supporters making his life unpleasant.
Possibly, yes.
And then him going, well, fuck all of you. See how you like it.
I mean, there's no question that...
What should I have for lunch, by the way?
Today? What are you getting from like Jimmy John's?
Well, I'm kind of getting... Jimmy Kimmel's.
Jimmy Kimmel's,
no, Jimmy John's. A little hungry, and... since we're not doing anything, I figured I'd just ask you. I'm kind of...
Since we're in the middle of a show.
Looking for
this is
suggestions. I'm about to order some food, so have it delivered here. What should I get?
I don't know. You got some hot wings? You getting what barbecue? You got a good barbecue delivery place? Hot dogs, says C. Brooklyn.
Barbecue does not work for delivery because by the time it arrives, it's no longer hot.
Ooh, that's not good, yeah.
Yeah, I've discovered that there are certain things that, like steaks, nothing with steaks,
Right, steaks you have to
never
eat quick.
Order that. You have to eat it instantly. Burgers, those are okay because ground beef, it's fine even if it's warm instead of hot.
And it's kind of soaking into the bun, the grease.
Yeah,
It makes it a beautiful thing.
But barbecue, I've ordered it a few times for delivery. It never is good. Nowhere near as good as if you're sitting there.
I have a box of Jimmy John's in the fridge because the company that my wife works for that at the wake, that just sent like a ton of food. More food than anybody could eat. There was so much food left over that...
there's a lot of food left over at the Nojan, the meetup here in Texas that the Duke of something or other had. That we went to Bastrop, Duke of Bastrop. So they had, that was the one that I had the photos from that I shared. I think there was a couple hundred people there, right around there.
Wow.
But they still had food left over.
In the troll room, Harry Hamster just tried to come in and he's still banned. Thought that was supposed to be a 1 month thing. Harry.
Well, I have no idea why I would think that. I'm perma-banned. Why wouldn't he be?
Somebody unban Harry already.
Huh. Maybe it's just time for a different troll room.
Well, we do have locals. That's kind of a troll room, although
there's
not
nothing
really
there
live.
Right now. It's not live. But I'm just saying, just talking out loud here.
Discording or
Discord or something. It might be a thing in the future because I think that there is some benefit to be derived out of interacting and not just having people listening live, but actually people able to comment back.
And Discord will do that. Oh, they'd vocally be able to comment back.
They could do both. They could for example, share their screen if we're talking about something. It's like, yeah, who is that guy that ran against Barack Obama? And somebody goes, oh, right here, I have this story right here. It's talking about it.
Yes, Sir Omaha, we can make our own room, but that doesn't give us all of that ability.
I will say that I've been using IRC since
before
literally
it was
the
IRC.
80s. No, it was 1980s was when I started using IRC. And I just don't understand the resistance to being on a newer technology that some people have. I'll just leave it at that.
I think the main thing is you can't be canceled, but...
Oh, can't you? Really? You could be permabanned pretty well.
I guess you're making a good point there. You're making
what is canceling other than permabanning?
That's exactly it.
Yes, something that the Republicans do a lot of, apparently.
I am not disagreeing with you.
Mm-hmm.
But are we done with the Drudge thing that I can get back to?
No, we're done with Drudge until I remember something else about it.
The off the press thing, which was the headline calling Joe Biden a racist because he went off script and started telling a story about Satchel Paige. And his words were, let me make sure
he was a good boy.
He says, let's see. I just want to tell you, I've adopted the attitude of the great Negro. At the time, pitcher in the Negro leagues, went on to become a great pitcher in the pros. So I know.
Did he call him a great Negro?
That's what people are pointing to.
That's hilarious.
But what anybody that listens to the clip, and again, I wish I had the clip, but people can go look at it for this themselves. If you were more
professional, you would have had the clip.
Okay, the next show we're starting video and clips, so everybody be ready.
We've tuned our stuff to be able to do that, so we should be able to.
But what I believe Joe meant to say in his diminished capacity was, I've adopted the attitude of the great Negro Leagues player, and he stopped after I've adopted the attitude of the great Negro. At the time, pitcher in the Negro. So this is not Joe being racist.
Yeah. Joe's never always racist.
No. I mean, he may be, but not because of this. And it's like, if you have something legit, that's fine. But when they're running this as the headline story of a Drudge Report thing. Right. But when you're running that as a story like the head, it's like, you're full of crap. You have to know totally this is Joe just bumbling over what he's saying.
Joe hasn't fucked as many black women as Bill Clinton.
Or as Mick Jagger.
Because Bill Clinton is an honorary black person for doing that. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure Joe's fucked a few.
Yeah, and in this case, it's like, this is ridiculous that this is the kind of stuff
I've been to the great Negro
Leagues Hall of Fame?
Baseball League Hall of Fame.
I have never been.
In Kansas City, Missouri.
But I want to go.
It's a wonderful place. They serve old-time fountain drinks there.
From what I've seen,
Negro
it is an excellent
league baseball players would drink.
And I mean, I still buy a lot of stuff on Amazon. And years ago,
buy a lot of the Negro Baseball League Hall of Fame stuff?
No, but they are. If you go to smile.amazon.com, Amazon will give a portion of everything you buy to the charity of your choice. And mine is the Negro Leagues Hall of Fame in Kansas City.
That really? You've never been and you're sending them money?
Correct. Because I believe in what they're doing. And I'm still pissed.
You know what they're doing?
Yeah.
They're serving Coke.
Coca-Cola?
Yeah, that's mostly what they're doing.
How dare they? But it's a place that honors players that the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown who can just go to hell.
Go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
As we all say.
Cooperstown, the fact that the great Minnie Minoso is not in Cooperstown, screw them. The fact that Buck O'Neill's not in Cooperstown, screw him.
Well, but
Dick Allen not in Cooperstown, screw him. What'd you say?
Oh, nothing.
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sure it was snide and was funny, but I didn't hear you. It's like there's people that I believe that should be in the Cooperstown Hall of Fame.
I'm all for Halls of Fame.
Well, of course. I mean, they're not a bad thing on the face.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when politics gets involved in anything, then, maybe you have.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure this was built on private money anyway. But it's interesting because the history of the Negro League is really no less interesting than the history of the non-Negro baseball out there. there was a lot of controversies happening. There was a lot of shenanigans going on, let's say. And I think a lot of the players, frankly, were better in the major leagues anyway.
In the Negro leagues, you mean?
Yeah, they just couldn't play in the major leagues. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
There is no doubt. There are plenty of examples. If you go look at the time that the league started to be integrated, that what the guys were doing, if there was a guy that was hitting 250 in the Negro leagues, he was probably a 300 hitter when he hit the major leagues. This was not a question of, where the talent was better. And Satchel Paige is a story that, I believe he pitched up until like age 60 in the major leagues.
The integration of the leagues is the same argument that I would use for integration of sports. And I think it's time to just end men's and women's sports. We should just have
we're getting there.
Sports. Yeah, I've always been for it. I've talked about it many times.
Although you know what this is going to turn into, which it'll be, every major league team has to have 3 women and 1 in the starting lineup, and it's not, that's how it's going to be.
As long as they're performing on par, the sex should not matter.
Well, but that's not going to be the case.
Well, then it's not really equality, is it?
But that's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be pushed through. You watch.
Yeah. Well, it may be pushed through that way, but I think if it is pushed through, well, then we know we're going to have the same thing we had in the 70s and early 80s with the domination of Eastern European teams.
Perhaps, yeah. Because you look, baseball,
their women are built a lot more like men.
And baseball is one of the sports where your physical stature
doesn't
means
matter.
less. Oh, yeah. Look at Jose Altuve, who's like, 5'2", and can hit a ball as far as anybody.
Well,
it's all about bat speed.
But his arms are 3.5 feet long, dude.
Wait, I didn't know he could walk.
He might be 5'2", but he's got 3-foot arms.
He can swing. I'm telling you. So
he can also scratch his knees.
I never
without bending over.
And he's a guy
it's all about the mechanical forces involved.
It's all about being able to generate the bat speed.
Yeah.
You're saying women can't generate the same bat speed? I would think.
I'm saying there are plenty of long-darned women out there.
Yeah.
I don't understand why women had to be forced to play softball instead of baseball.
No, and I've seen, I think it was Jenny Finch, who was on the Olympic team years ago.
And would you rather not watch a women's baseball game in bikinis?
See, now you're being sexist, Gene. But
how's that being sexist?
The bikini part. I don't want to see you in a bikini.
Then you're being sexist.
Maybe. Or just I have good taste. I don't know. But Jenny Finch, I remember striking out some major league players, with the softball thing, just doing that. And it's like, people want to, it's a whole different ball game with the, not,
it is. And this is the problem that the WNBA has, is that the women are not physically as capable as men to do well in the game because of their attributes. I think in baseball, I maybe I'm wrong, but I can't think of anything that involves baseball which women would inherently be worse at doing.
Especially now that the game has gone.
Maybe sliding on their stomachs. I don't know.
See, but not even, because the game has changed so much in the last few years. It's completely non-contact.
Well, to be fair, I haven't watched the game in about a decade. So.
See, you left at the right time.
Okay, good.
You absolutely left at the right time, because it is now a rarity. You can't take the guy out at second base if you're sliding in. You can't take the catcher out at home because we don't want contact. So this is a time for women to come into the sport. It's no contact.
Are they playing baseball and maintaining social distancing now? Is
kind
that
of.
What you're telling me?
It is
God, yes. That is retarded.
It is kind of what they're doing.
This is a game that's been around for hundreds of years and they're fucking with it.
Yeah. Even though the catcher was the only guy that actually had protection on, they made it, illegal to run the catcher over. So it's a weirdness that's going on in baseball.
I don't understand non-contact sports.
Which, maybe they're just getting ready for the integration, men, women. Because, football, obviously, if you have a bunch of women, probably going to lose to a bunch of guys just from physical size. Basketball, the same way. You're taller, stronger, you're probably going to win.
Women
Baseball,
are more
you're absolutely
maneuverable,
right.
though. The women are totally more maneuverable. They have a lower center of gravity.
Guys would just be copping a field, though, in basketball.
Exactly. And then that would the
one
women
thing-
would be focusing on winning the game. The guys would be focusing on copping a field.
Right. That may be true. That we need a female Globetrotters to test
Was
this
there
out.
a movie made by a bunch of feminists called The League of Their Own?
Yeah, a baseball movie. Yeah, years. But that
Yeah.
was about it, based on. I don't know how true it is, but that was based upon a
That's
women's
the
league.
Negro Women's Baseball Hall of Fame League.
The non-Negro women's. It was all white women. I don't think that was an
How
integrated league.
racist of them. I can't believe that.
Yeah, they were not woke enough.
No.
But yeah, baseball.
Yeah,
is
that
the
was
one
what
sport, man.
Gina Davis was in that. Madonna was in
yeah.
that.
Bill. Oh yeah, Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks was of course, the man in charge of the women.
There's no crying in baseball.
And then you had the Rosie O'Donnell, I think, was in there.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Good old
So
Rosie.
I've never seen this movie.
It sounds like you've seen it like 8 or 10 times. This is something
No,
you're
it's
watching
just-
on a regular basis. I don't know why. I mean, if you've stopped watching baseball, I guess you can get your own. You can get your fix.
Gina Davis back in the day was fucking hot.
Yeah, she was for a while
Like
there.
mid 80s to mid 90s, she was hot.
Are you saying
was
then
just
she's not hot after that? It
6
just falls off?
2. Got a
Yeah, but
back
you're like
then
5
anyway,
foot.
had a
So
really
what,
good body.
what are you going to do with
yeah, I'm
6'2"?
5 feet. Yes, of course. Sure.
mean,
Let's just put that out there.
You're just going to be like
an
a
inch
koala
taller
climbing
than
a tree.
John. Yeah.
Hey, for guys like Adam and I, we're just like, oh, what are you still here, Gene? Where'd you go?
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's like just because my proportions may not be the same doesn't mean I'm not actually tall.
I think that does mean that you're not actually.
Well, no, it totally doesn't.
You
Not
are
at all.
tall in spirit, Gene.
I'm tall enough.
You're tall enough to do what. I mean, Jose Altuve, man, he should be your hero.
Should he?
I think so.
Mm.
Or are you just anti? I think he's Venezuelan. So you like anti-Venezuelan?
I actually am anti-Venezuelan. Yeah,
Ooh.
they're a bunch of socialists.
Well, not the people. I mean, they've learned.
Well, what do you mean, not the people?
The people that are living there have learned that socialism's not the way to go.
So Chinese aren't socialist,
The people themselves, a lot of them probably would prefer not to be,
but they are.
but they're being forced to. Revolution.
Well, sure, you can always make that argument, but I maintain that every people have the government they deserve.
That is probably true, except for where it's not.
In a country of 1 billion plus people, no one has the guts to actually
Stand up
start
and
and
revolt.
push through a revolution.
Yeah.
I'd say that they're socialists. There's no two ways about it.
People are afraid. They see people die. They see people disappear.
When you're afraid and you keep doing something, then you should be called that thing that you do.
You get pushed far enough, and that's when people start standing up. But
If you're a person that constantly votes Democrat, should you be called a Republican or a Democrat?
if you vote what?
If you vote Democrat, but
Right.
you say, yeah, I don't know, those liberal policies might be going too far. Are you still a Democrat? Yeah, of course you are.
Until you change at the next election.
If you voted for Joe Biden,
Whoa! Okay,
if you voted for Joe
gee.
Biden, are you? Yeah, there's your clip. Are you
Nope.
a Democrat or not a Democrat?
I don't want to be taken off of Apple.
I'd say you're a Democrat.
Yeah,
What you're saying? Apple's run by a bunch of Jews?
I'm saying that. I'm saying
Man,
that
that's kind of going out on the limb there.
that kind of language is just not acceptable. That is not acceptable, Gene.
What kind of language?
I don't even want to repeat what you just said, Gene.
What did I just say? We're talking about the Negro Hall of Fame League for baseball.
Right. In the Hall of
what
Fame,
language did I say that's not repeatable?
you were saying something about Joe Biden, which I thought was just,
you can't say Joe Biden now?
no. You're supposed to say "Let's go, Brandon." I think it's the proper thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why it's hard to get support, Gene. We do have some people though to thank, including, which I believe, what is the level that Bruce City Mike came in on? Because I believe he is our number one guy today.
Our number one guy, so he gets access to all the exclusive content.
He's our number one guy that came into locals this is like Neil Armstrong setting foot on the
locals
moon.
is definitely growing. I'm kind of impressed with how many people are joining.
There are people joining, which is good.
But
It's free to
he was
join.
definitely the first dude to actually say, I'm going to give you guys some money.
Yes, through locals, which is the new way to go. And we are pushing more things towards there. We still have the normal PayPal. We do have...
For now.
Yes, we do have the snail mail address. But this may get to a point which I see both sides of this because a lot of people...
Well, it's a trade-off, right? Locals makes it much easier for administration and for us to be able to put content and to automatically send out mailings to people. Like all of the variety of tools that we have to use otherwise are all just part of locals. And we've talked about how the reason that now we've decided to actually use locals, it's been around for years, but the fact that they're now part of the same brand, the same company
of Rumble.
As Rumble.
It's what Scott Adams uses. If you follow Scott Adams and you're on that one pay site, that's what he uses.
Yeah. And much bigger guys than Scott Adams use Rumble. And,
but this, the trolls, they know Scott Adams more than a lot of those guys.
Than Gary Vaynerchuk.
Does Vaynerchuk use locals too? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And I follow him.
Yeah. Clearly you don't give him money.
No, not anymore. I fell off. There was a whole shoe controversy when I couldn't get a size 15 in one of his first shoes. And I was like, screw you, Gary.
Were you planning on giving that out to Ronald McDonald or some other clown?
No, I got size 15 feet, man. And why are they anti-Bigfooters? I don't understand.
And you're giving me shit for being short? I'd say one of us is a clown shoe wearer.
Size 15, baby.
And just came out with that statement. Wow.
Yeah. But the locals is way now. I do see where keeping the snail mail thing alive, which I think we're planning on doing as long as we go on.
Yeah, no, that's on you because that's the kind of work I would not be doing at all. I would just say, I appreciate the thought. Please send money electronically or don't.
And I understand why people prefer to go that way. I respect that and will.
The irony is the guy that's sending you money through snail mail right now isn't sending you money through snail mail. He's just punching some numbers on the web into his bank with a smile on his face and saying, ha ha, here you go.
That is true.
And the bank is doing all the heavy lifting. But on this side, you have to do it. It's not going directly into your bank because it is coming through snail mail.
Correct. And now I will say.
So really, he's just giving you work.
Sergeant Fred of the 2030 podcast and Grumpy Old Bears, he has donated in the past. I believe he's the only one. And if I'm forgetting somebody, I apologize, but I think he's the only one that came in with a handwritten check. You're right. Everything else was through the online bill pay.
Yep.
Stuff like that, which again, we like because there's nobody in the in the interim. There's no percentage being given, although locals is a quite fair percentage compared to whatever else is out there. The problem will come in if people go the snail mail route and want content that is part of the locals, which we're going to have some bonus. Yeah.
I mean, that's the bottom line. It's like, it's what we want to not have happen is people, because they're choosing to use some other preferable method to them, wanting then special treatment. So that's just not going to happen. We'll just put that out there.
Yes.
So if you'd like the access to the content, please use locals. If you don't, well, we appreciate your donation, but you're not going to really get anything for it other than us continuing to do the show.
Which it's a quality show. But did Brew City Mike, was that $7? Was that what level was that? Did you pull that up?
I believe. Yeah,
$6.
Yeah.
Which gives him an executive producership today, which is showing you we need more people on locals.
Yeah, and local. So there's really locals is super simple. There's only 2 levels, and as far as I'm concerned, there's really only just one level for the immediate future until we start getting people donating the kind of dollar amounts that other podcasts are getting these days. I think even though there are 2 levels in locals, I'm going to treat it effectively as one level of either you're a somebody who's a supporter contributor to us, or you're somebody who just enjoys the content and is on there to get free stuff. And there's plenty that's going to be free as well and is already. So certainly by no means. In fact, I'd say I've probably posted 20 or 30 things on Locals, and only 2 of them have been for supporters.
Now, the one thing we are planning on doing there is the video version of the show. So if you really want to see how pretty Gene or I are. So we're trying to do stuff that is not taking away content that we've been producing.
It's just, if there's additional things that we can add, and if people are super interested, then we're going to put that on Locals, or have access through Locals to that. But obviously the podcast is going to always be free.
We did a massive amount of testing.
Although Darren did say he's willing to sell out to Spotify if they come in with millions of dollars. Yeah. I'm not so sure I would, but maybe.
So that's where Unrelenting breaks into two.
I do think I might have. Yeah. Then we have the Spotify version with Darren, and then we have the free version with me.
Yeah. So nobody will be listening to the free version then, but that's okay.
Well, it's funny you say that, because most people don't subscribe to Spotify, so they will be listening to the free one, not the Spotify one.
I need a foot cam. What do you mean a foot cam? Why would I need a foot cam? See, Brooklyn, what are you looking at? He's
up your skirt, apparently, Darren.
Yeah, he's an upskirter. That's okay. We don't judge.
Well, as long as he's a donating upskirter, we don't judge. If he's not a donating upskirter, we totally judge.
Oh, totally, yeah. But we did a lot of testing on the video front, and the open source solution, which was OBS Ninja?
Yeah.
A site that just somehow works. I mean, we've talked about Clean Feed. We've talked about Zencastr, which we're using today as services to be able to do quality audio. This does quality audio and video for free.
It's surprisingly well. And what I need to do a little more playing around with is how easily can we feed that OBS Ninja to Locals community as well for that stream.
To do it, so we can do a live stream and pump the video. I think
because
you probably have to do it through OBS,
think
right?
It's doable. I'm pretty sure it's doable, but I haven't actually tested it yet, so I need to do that test. We're pretty close. We honestly, and I know we've got a lot of how the sausage made conversation about audio and video in this episode, but I think some people are interested.
Well, and if you want video, I think 480p is fine. But Gene doesn't even like 720. He wants 1080p or plus.
Yeah. There's a solution out there that a lot of people are using called Stockyard. Well, no, what's it called? Duckyard?
Something yard. I think it was
StreamYard.
StreamYard, maybe.
Yeah, StreamYard. So a lot of people that I watch are using StreamYard because it's a very easy, everything in the browser way to produce videos. Lets you do lower thirds, lets you do some effects, lets you,
the
have
comments
titles.
Coming in.
Integrates with comments from YouTube, Twitch, and other places automatically very nicely. It's got a lot of pros to it. It is a paid service. I think their cheapest plan is $20 a month
for 720p.
And it goes up from there. But that cheap plan only has 720p. And I'm sorry. Are we still living in the 2000s right now? Because 720p is just not a thing.
No, it is.
720p was a
720p.
Thing.
When I download
blind.
stuff,
you're literally blind.
Yes,
so
that's why I go with 720p.
Yeah, I prefer 4K, but I'm willing.
Oh, come on. Tinfoil hat says 4K or bust. I mean, I know we're pretty,
4K
but we're not
or
4K
bust.
pretty.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
We are not 4K pretty.
At the very, very minimum, 1080p is anything that's like marginally acceptable.
For watching 4K, the video
5K,
version of a
8K,
podcast?
It's not about the podcast, dude, because a lot of the stuff that's going to be on our stream is a view of my desktop or your desktop looking at a website. It's not, we're going to have, our heads will be an inch tall. Okay.
Not if you're on a 70-inch screen.
And in the 70-inch screen, our heads will be 1 inch tall. So compare that dimension when shrunk down to 720p. Our heads will be 3 pixels tall.
Right. There's people going to be watching. Like I never even saw Darren and Gene.
That was just a picture of some website I was looking at the whole time when they're talking.
There was one pixel in the corner that keeps changing.
We're 3 pixels tall, though. Yeah, exactly. That's not even changing that much, frankly.
Yeah, that would be preferred.
But our tests went well. We literally tested for 2 hours. We tried every audio and video solution that we could. Didn't bother doing Zoom because I just assume Zoom works now for everything, but don't want to use the Chinese stuff. So trying to use as much of the Israeli stuff, I guess, as possible.
Yeah, so we're working on that.
Yeah, and by the way, can I just ask you publicly, when in the hell are you going to install Signal? Because I cannot communicate with you without fucking Signal. I'm getting tired of using email to tell you something and reply back to you. Just install freaking Signal.
Can't we just set up a constant line like the bat signal that you could just talk?
Yeah, it's called Signal. Install it and it'll work like a bat signal.
I use Tox.
Yes.
Is it like Tox? Would I like it?
Nobody uses Tox. Just you and your wife. You're the only two people that use Tox. Get something that works with the rest of the world, like Signal.
And Bacon Dude, he does as well. He's a supporter of the show. And
he does what, Tox?
Yeah, he sends me messages on Tox every now and then.
Yeah, well, that's going to have to go away. He's going to have to become a locals supporter before he can send you messages.
We have to wait.
That's how it works, buddy. You want to communicate directly with Darren?
We're getting locked down. You got to be a supporter. Cage. He's a great supporter of the show, as is Curtis Peterson, who comes in today with $5. Brian Hall with $2.93. And yes, I think I forgot on the last show because Jeremy Gertis, the streaming checks, they keep showing up, and sometimes I put them just in their own little area. And I think I forgot that on the last show. But another 6 33-cent checks have showed up. So another $1.98 from Jeremy Gertis, and that's like 33 cents a day coming in from his credit union, who I'm sure is not wasting paper concept, or postage.
But he's literally just burning through paper. But more importantly, even that aside, he's just creating work for Darren.
He's creating more work for my wife, who goes to the post office when something comes in.
Well, if she's doing that, then why are you getting the money? She ought to be getting the money.
Wait, you don't think that's right? You're not married anymore. Do you think that any money I get actually?
I'm no longer married. I keep my money.
I'm like, do you think any of the money that I get to keep? I mean, if you're donating to my shows, I really appreciate it. But
all right, can we get back to serious conversation? I still need to order food.
You're right. What didn't you order something yet?
No, because we switched topics and I forgot where we were talking about.
You should order a pizza, but I just want to let everybody know that
barbecue.
If you want to support our show, you can go to unrelenting.show. All the information is there. The link to locals is there. The P.O. box address is there. And as of now, there is still a PayPal link.
Should I just publish my address on here so that people can order me food?
That would be interesting to see what shows up.
Yeah. And well, I'll tell you what, when we get the cameras up and running so that people can actually watch the food arrive and then getting eaten.
Okay, this is an interesting
the
segment.
Eating part is already available on OnlyFans for $99 per minute. But if you would like to just send me food that other people would watch me eat, I'd be open to that.
See, now, if you were 18 years old, a female, and attractive,
I'm basically all of those.
You could probably get so much stuff sent.
Okay, if I bring in a female who's 18 and attractive to eat food with me, would that be enough to get some more money coming in?
I bet, I think it would. It would have to be a different feed, but I bet you that would be the popular video feed. She doesn't say anything. She does nothing to do with the show, but just a live feed of Gene having a poor young girl, probably handcuffed to something and unable.
Oh, you have watched my OnlyFans. Goddamn, dude. See, you're pretending like you don't even watch it. You totally watch it.
It is great content, Gene. It's
always been great content. Yeah. I mean, once you pay for getting the cameras installed in all four corners of your bedroom, you got to use them.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, that's the only reason to have all those 4K cameras, but you don't even have a 4K webcam. You're still using a 1080p webcam. You don't even have the Brio yet. Come on. Did you get that ordered yet?
The Brio?
The Brio, the Logitech Brio. It's a great.
No, it doesn't have very good reviews. I looked at the reviews on it, and people are saying, it gives you a 4K output, but the quality is actually not any better than their previous camera.
No, that's untrue. I looked for my video.
That's what the reviews say.
I did a video review on YouTube. The difference between the Brio and the 920, and the video quality was quite a bit improved.
Well,
even
the
at
920 came out 7 years ago, to be fair.
Right.
And
so
there are much better quality cameras with the new Sony chips that are, like, for example, made by the same guys that make Stream Deck, and it's only 1080p, but people are saying it actually has better quality than the Brio.
Really? So one of the, what's Elgato? I need to check out one of their webcams.
Which I think that just means the cat.
Yeah, Elgato. Like El Gallo de Oro. That's the rooster or something.
Of the no, it's not a rooster. Oh,
El Gallo.
El Gallo?
El Gallo de Oro.
Okay, yeah. I thought you said El Gato de Oro, because that would be the cat of the gold.
Yes, the golden rooster, which, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
They do great Mexican food, though. El Gallo de Oro here in the Chicago area.
We don't have that here. We have real Mexican food here.
Well, that's because you can just walk to Mexico.
We have real Mexicans that cook the Mexican food here.
We have real Mexicans here, too.
I'm not sure about that.
In every restaurant, in every town.
I think you have a lot of Guatemalans and Venezuelans out there cooking Mexican food.
Maybe.
We have the real kind. The real Mexicans here with the real Mexican food.
How do you define
not the
real
fake Mexicans that you have? Ones that grew up in Mexico?
Right. Those
where a lot of the people that are in
Gene's not offending
states,
anybody. No.
Why would I be offending? I literally
say the real Mexicans are
real. Right around Mexicans.
Yeah, I would hope. You're in Texas.
Yeah, in Tejas.
But did you get your pizza ordered? What are you having? Pizza now?
Oh, yeah. So what should I see? I don't know. I had pizza 3 days ago. I don't know if I want to get a pizza again. Give me other ideas. Does the troll room have ideas for food?
No. They're not interested.
Well, that's kind of depressing.
Can't you order like a big steak burrito?
So the question of funny you should say that. I had Chinese yesterday, and I had a burrito the day before.
It's okay. We're then no pizza. You've killed Italian. You've killed Chinese. You've killed Mexican.
I haven't killed Italian. I had a pizza that's not Italian. That's American food. I could get Italian. The only issue with Italian is typically it's got like an hour and a half wait before they cook it and ship it out to you.
Well, that's no good. You want something fast.
Because Italian food has real cooking time involved, like all the pastas and things, and chicken primavera and
grilled cheese. I was tuning in, says have a grilled cheese. You have a grilled cheese joint?
I have not had a grilled cheese in a while, and I did see an ad for a grilled cheese specialty place.
See, Brooklyn says sushi. You can do sushi.
Okay, so sushi delivery.
Ned says soy on tofu.
Soy on tofu? Yeah. Well, if it's good aged tofu, and decent quality soy, it could be something.
I was tuning in, says they have Mexicans cooking their Chinese food, which would be a great.
Oh yeah, we have Mexican cooking all food here for sure.
Well, here too. I mean, almost every restaurant in the world.
I don't believe that. I don't think you have Mexicans. I think you have fake Mexicans.
Right, we've heard that already. Is this a rerun?
Pretty sure.
Is this a rerun? Let me adjust my dial here. See if this is still live. Haitian food. We do have one Costa Rican place that we went to in Chicago that was great.
I think Costa Rican food is good. I lived in Costa Rica for a while.
Really? How long?
2 months.
Wow. I mean, did they just say get the hell out, or is that a long vacation? That doesn't seem like living. That seems like a long vacation. Were you planning on staying?
No. I was planning on coming back.
Were you extradited? Were you avoiding law enforcement?
It's a long, fun story, and I will write it someday. I've been meaning to turn it into a script for a movie or something. But
interesting.
I will say that of the people that I was there with, 3 are in American prison and 2 are in Russian prison right now.
Was there anybody that got away except you? Oh, that's probably a no.
I have no idea what you're asking.
Send lawyers, guns, and money.
It was definitely an interesting trip. So I like Costa Rica. They have a good food.
Good fishing, I hear.
Yeah, we did some fishing out there, and that was fun.
Beautiful.
I went on a fishing trip with the bodyguards mostly.
I was gonna say, did anybody not come back from the fishing trip too? Because
there's a great story about that. There's actually a really good story about not coming back from a fishing trip.
Is that going to be in the book, or is that
that'll be in the book? Oh yeah, it'll totally be.
That's not part of the locals content.
No, the book is going to be a specialty item. You're going to have to buy that on Amazon.
Sounds fair.
I've been meaning to put it together. I think we're past most of the age of limitation stuff.
Oh well, that's good. So they can't come get you for the crimes of the past,
right? Well, I mean, depends on who you mean by they.
And there's some people that might be coming for you that wouldn't want to put you in jail and just want to put you in the ground too.
Correct.
There's a lot less to do with still a lot the time that happened. So Is your name even Gene? I mean, are you in the witness protection program? It's the witness protection program.
Yeah, it's a new program that everybody's been steered into. It's called podcasting.
Oh, yes. Where nobody ever hears from you again.
That's exactly right. It's the best way to disappear into Never Never Land.
Yes.
Become a podcaster. Oh, what do you do for I'm a podcaster. Oh, right. Let me go get that food over there. Yeah.
Yeah. What you getting?
No, I'm just pretending to be the person who's not interested in somebody who's a podcaster.
Right.
But let me open up Uber Eats.
Ooh, I hate Uber Eats.
Why do you dislike Uber Eats?
Well, because everybody I've known that owns restaurants say they get screwed by all of these delivery services, but then again, they keep using them. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like getting the government you deserve.
I think for a lot of, I don't know if they would agree, but I think a lot of restaurants are still solvent because of Uber Eats.
It definitely
they would have
helped.
Just shuttered during COVID if it wasn't for Uber Eats.
No, and I've heard that as well, which is it did keep the orders coming in where God bless the people that are still doing the delivery for Uber Eats. And I saw a story the other day talking about why you really want to tip if you use, I believe it was Uber Eats. I don't think it was the DoorDash or one of those, but I think they all kind of work the same. What story
is that?
Well, there was a story about if you don't tip, how long it takes for your order to get picked up by a driver.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a system where, say you were a really bad tipper, you never tipped, and you just went and ordered your food now. So you're ordering your burger and fries. That goes out to Uber Eats with, here's the job, here's how much it pays.
Mm-hmm.
If nobody picks it up after 20 minutes, they increase the amount of pay.
Mm-hmm.
If nobody picks it up after 40 minutes, they increase it again. Now, if you're a bad tipper, they can see this because there's ratings for the customer, just like the customers rate the drivers and delivery people.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. So if you're a horrible tipper, there's a really good chance your food's going to sit at McDonald's or Starbucks or wherever you're ordering from for like an hour, hour and a half before anybody even gets there to pick it up. So you're never getting fresh food if you don't tip well on these services.
Yeah, well, I got a news for you. If you tip well, you still aren't getting fresh food.
So it's still crap. So why do you use it then?
It's not crap. It's just your food is always going to be an hour. It doesn't matter what they put on, how long the estimate is.
Well, it's not even how long it takes to get. It's how long it sits at the restaurant before it's picked up.
Yeah, most restaurants will make it within 15 minutes of getting the order.
And if the system's working right, somebody should be there to pick it up shortly thereafter.
And not so much, because the way these things are set up is they want to batch orders. So they ideally have more than one order from the same restaurant to be delivered. So there is a built-in waiting queue time between when an order comes in before they even relay it to a driver, because they're hoping that another order will come in either for that restaurant or a place that's right next to there. Because, I don't know if you're aware of this, but drivers deliver typically 3 orders, sometimes 4, sometimes less, but typically 3 orders in one trip.
Which is also horrible for your food being good.
So you better hope you're the first drop off, because if you're the third or fourth drop off, they just adds another 20 minutes or more to your food sitting in somebody's car.
No, thanks. I'll go pick it up or deal with a place like our local pizza place has their own delivery people. You order directly from them.
I can get Szechuan fried rice.
That's good.
For $12.
That's good. What's in there? Shrimp and beef.
Probably got rice and Szechuans.
I don't think you'd know. There's got to be some meat in there, right?
Yeah, you could put chicken or shrimp and chicken.
Oh, shrimp and chicken, right? That would be
That's an extra $3.
Do it. Sounds good. It has to be something spicy, aren't you getting? That's a little spicy.
I do like Szechuan. Spicy. That's not super spicy, but okay. Let me see what else they got here.
The hotter the Chinese, the better. When I used to go,
this is like fucking insanely awesome content of me looking on my iPad, scrolling through Uber Eats, trying to figure out what to order.
You say it's great content. Everybody else is like, what the hell is Gene doing? And I'm like, this is no
video.
Right. Is this why we need video? Is this you making the case for why we need video?
I mean, if I had video running right now, people could literally be looking over my shoulder and seeing what kind of food I'm scrolling.
They're like, do you remember when Gene was hungry and was looking for lunch? You could have
seen. They're going to have a lot of those memories. I can assure you of that.
There used to be a Chinese restaurant next to a Radio Shack I worked at. Neither one are there anymore. So that, Radio Shack I think is gone. Yeah. Down in Chicago, it was like 68th and Pulaski. So not, kind of walking distance from Midway Airport.
Yeah.
And there was a little Chinese place that had the best damn Chinese food. And I used to go in and get the hot and sour soup, extra hot. Oh my goodness.
You like hot food? I didn't know you like hot food.
Oh yeah. Love hot food.
Really?
Love hot food.
I could get some Bavarian churros and Thai iced tea.
She's put together a
and
whole
some
menu
jalapeno
here.
Poppers.
How does jalapeno poppers go with Chinese food?
And some.
This is why you're mixing and matching from like 5 different places.
Cheesecake. This is all literally one place.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of a place is this?
It's called Mother Cluckers. I'm not kidding. If you saw me,
if you are listening live and you just happen to work at Mother Cluckers in the Austin area,
if you happen to work there,
yeah. Then,
that you can get a Jerry's cheesecake that looks like Swiss cheese with little holes cut out of it.
Nice.
For $8.95. That's a screw deal.
I used to go in and order the food extra hot, and like the first time they kind of like looked at me.
You like spicy food?
Oh yeah. The first a couple of times the girl that worked there was just you sure? Yeah. And then it was okay because I think the first time when we ate it in there, they just wanted to watch and see if I was like going to die. And because it came out and it was really.
Ooh, I can
really
get a tandoori shrimp non-wrap.
You can get a lot of things. The world is your oyster, Gene, this internet thing.
So this is the interesting thing about Austin. Austin is really the test city for a lot of the tech that used to come from San Francisco. And now it doesn't even come from San Francisco. It's actually headquartered here.
Right.
And so Austin has some of the highest speed fiber optic connections to houses.
Well, you got to get your food ordered.
It has multiple food order services.
Soon they will be able to 3D print your food in your home.
And a drone will drop it on your roof. Yes.
Well, you don't need that if it's being 3D printed in your home.
Oh, no, the drone will 3D print the food right in front of you.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, because then it'd be fresh barbecue instead of, 3D printed barbecue. But at least it'll be freshly 3D printed right in front of you.
Yeah, see, Brooklyn says, eat while food is still available. You never know.
Well, that's a good call. I do have plenty of MREs that I could tap into if I needed to, but
yeah, there's already stories of turkeys being sold out for Thanksgiving, which I don't know.
Oh, they are. There's only 5 turkeys available for the U.S. this year.
Well, you got to order them quick then.
I think 4 of them are gone already.
Probably. You have to find the one store that still has them.
It has the one?
Yeah, the one.
The one turkey for the one?
The one turkey left. Or we all come down to Gene's for Thanksgiving. I mean, you're a bachelor.
Yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's just have a big old Thanksgiving here in Austin.
Open house at Gene's.
Totally.
All the guns you want to shoot.
We'll invite Adam to come by to make it a little more of an event.
Wait, you don't
what
think
the hell? Might as well at that point. We'll just have it. Let's just have it at Joe Rogan's house. I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't mind.
No, I mean, he may not even be there. I mean, I'm sure you've got a spare key.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah. I mean,
no, he'll be here.
You don't think he's traveling, could go somewhere anywhere?
No, he's definitely not traveling for Thanksgiving.
I heard that your buddy Tim was in the area there.
Tim is here right now. Yeah. Hey, wave Tim.
Hey.
Yeah, Tim's waving. Can you all see him?
Yeah. Where's the beanie? I don't see the beanie.
No, what do you mean? It's right on his head. What do you think it is?
We don't have the video feed. Damn.
Oh, that's right. You don't have the camera is turned off. Shit.
I'm surprised he didn't want to meet with you when he came in.
I know. Well, his RV is parked right outside my house.
Cool.
But he is being antisocial.
Well, just take photos.
I will. I'll get some photos taken.
Put them on Locals. People can see them then.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe we'll put them up on Locals for people that are donating.
So now, do you have your food ordered? Are we
burrito affirmation? Should I get one of those?
How many different meals are you ordering?
I'm still haven't ordered one. God damn it! I'm still looking here. Oh, I can get an. Oh, wait a minute. Have I ordered from this before?
What?
Scrambled eggs, melt cheese, tater tots, wrapped in flour tortilla. That sounds vaguely good.
Sure.
Right? I mean, scrambled eggs and cheese in a tortilla.
It sounds more like breakfast, but I mean, you can have breakfast any time of the day.
Well, it's called a breakfast burrito.
Yeah. I love a good breakfast burrito or quesadilla, but
cheese.
For me, breakfast Mexican food it has to be chorizo.
And I don't like chorizo.
What?
I'm gonna go with bacon.
What? You don't like chorizo? What's wrong with you?
I just don't like the flavor.
What is wrong with you?
Well, nothing's wrong with me. Why would I like chorizo?
Because chorizo is fantastic. It is like the nectar of the gods. There is no better meat than chorizo.
You're poor, aren't you?
No. I mean, I'm not rich, but chorizo's awesome. If I had to go like bacon or chorizo, gotta go.
You think pork sausage is the best food in the world?
Oh, chorizo? Oh, yeah. Spicy hot chorizo, especially. No better burrito than a chorizo and steak burrito.
Yeah. No, there's plenty better.
No, that is it.
Mm-hmm.
You are wrong.
Let's see. Let me get some caramelized onions on there.
You're still ordering your lunch? Come on.
I'm ordering my burrito. Shut up, man. I'm busy.
Doesn't know how to order food online yet.
I've never done it. I'm a fucking platinum member with Uber Eats.
You've ordered two. Okay, so you don't just have an order that you could just go order this again, and this would have been done in 3 minutes? I
mix it up every day. They get a side of bacon, I wonder.
You would prefer for me to just berate you through this whole process of ordering your food while doing a podcast?
I don't see a problem with ordering my food while doing a podcast, frankly. I could do a podcast with one hand tied behind my back. Well, as long as the other hand is pushing buttons on an iPad.
I'm like, what else would you need your hands for? I mean, I've got some Jimmy John's up in the fridge just waiting for lunch.
So, do you like Jimmy John's?
It was free, so I'll eat it. But
okay, good answer. I like that answer. Did I get some avocado in here?
I would hope so. I love avocado, but it's not really in season now here.
Oh, it's in season year-round here.
Ooh, that's one reason to go to Texas.
I'm surprised they even grow avocado in Illinois.
Well, I doubt they actually grow them, but they bring them in, and then they're not as good.
You know who grows most of the avocados in the country?
The Mexicans?
The Californians.
Oh, I hate those people.
Yeah, California has huge avocado production facilities.
But I'm not a fan of Subway at all, so I will put Jimmy John's ahead of Subway.
Subway sucks.
Yeah.
Totally sucks.
Agree. I would not take a Subway sponsorship if I had to eat the food. Now, if they were just paying me, that's okay. But no, not if I actually had to eat the food.
No, I totally agree. Now, the only thing is...
Mutter wants to know what you're going to tip on this order.
0. I'm going to test the theory. I want to see how long the food takes.
It's never going to show up.
Now I'm curious whether it will show up at all.
It'll be like the next show.
I can pay $3 to have it delivered faster.
So wait, so now this is a whole system of...
no, they have a priority delivery thing. So if I wanted to have priority, like they'll put my order in ahead of everybody else for $3.
Would you like your food to actually be delivered warm? Add $5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Would you like your food to be delivered warm and fresh? Add $10.
So I think I'm going to get this burrito chorizo, or not chorizo.
Would you like the delivery driver to not spit in your food? Add $20.
You know, most of the food things are now sealed up.
That is good.
They had a problem 2-3 years ago. They had a problem with a lot of missing items. Like somebody get an order and then like, oh, your potatoes never came from the restaurant. Yeah, that's because you ate them.
Right. Or you're like 6 jalapeno poppers turned into 4 on the ride over.
Yeah, exactly. Or a lot of drinks just being like half full, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, it's funny thirsty work delivering food, Gene.
Wait, I'm sure there was a whole slew of people that thought this is going to be great. Free food and money.
Uh-huh.
And all I got to do is drive around. All right. Food ordered.
Until gas went up to $19 a gallon.
We're going to have to stay on the podcast until the food arrives.
No, we don't.
Now we have to time how long it's going to take. It is 1:33 right now.
Oh, that's not a magic number. My food's already here, though, so I don't really care when yours gets there.
What?
Is that rude?
How's your food already there? When did you order yours?
I got it at the Wake. All the Jimmy John's.
Like you got the Jimmy John, the Wake Johns.
Yes.
The Wake Jimmy Johns.
Yes.
Oh, I gotcha. Now I gotcha.
Yeah. Sandwiches.
So No, do they have a special wake flavorings for Jimmy John's, or just regular flavor?
Just an assortment. But it's
is it chorizo flavored? Is that what you're
No, I wish there was chorizo flavored. These they're in a box.
Is there
and they're all
chorizo flavor?
Not that I know of, but if there was, I'd go for it. But I didn't order
Jimmy John's. I've had Jimmy John's. What's the sandwich I like there? It's called like the gangster,
the big fat ass guy. That was what
That's
you got.
the one. That's the sandwich I like.
That was the one you sent a picture of. Like, look how big my sandwich is. Oh, not one of those guys, huh, Gene?
Did I send you a picture of a sandwich?
Yes.
Did I really?
Yes. You don't remember this?
No, I totally don't remember this.
Okay.
Which brand of sandwich was it?
I don't remember, but it was like the size of your keyboard or something.
No way.
Yeah. It was a big sandwich.
Huh.
Okay. Gene's doing a whole different show than everybody else. I'm convinced.
You're telling me I sent you a picture of a sandwich like an hour ago?
No, not today. If you were just eating a sandwich an hour ago, I would hope you wouldn't be ordering another one.
I was going to say, where are you getting this sandwich picture from?
But I thought it was a Jimmy John's. Because you're like, what's that big sandwich you like? You sent me a picture of some really big sub sandwich.
That was not a Jimmy John's. See, I did. That was like 6 months ago. No, that was a sandwich that I ordered from, what's the place called?
Right, that place. Like it matters.
Okay, fine. It's a one-off in Austin. No one else is going to know about. But there's a place that has pretty good sandwiches here. Austin, I think they may be changing the policy, but Austin for decades had a no chains policy for granting permits to restaurants.
Really? So you didn't have any McDonald's or
nope.
Chick-fil-A?
Well, no, they had McDonald's and they had Chick-fil-A, but no, I don't mean like the McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Whataburgers. I mean like other
like sit down
chains.
Restaurants,
like there's
Applebee's
no Perkins's, there's no Applebee's, right. There's none of no chain restaurants at all. In fact, there was very few, and I mean like 3 in the whole city of Starbucks when I came here.
Now, how many are there?
Probably 15.
You know, you can go order Taylor's Latte, and they'll know what you're ordering now. It's a special collaboration.
Is it red?
Yeah, the cups are. But yeah, that's
oh my God.
And they're playing Taylor Swift music all month long
there's
or something.
Perfect reason not to ever go to Starbucks.
To go to Starbucks, probably. And the fact that it's overpriced burnt coffee.
It is probably the most consistently decent coffee of all the chains, I would say.
Not a Dunkin' Donuts fan?
No. Anywhere you go into a Starbucks and you're in the country, even frankly out of the country, the coffee tastes the same.
And that's what you're paying for.
It's the McDonald's of coffee.
That's about right.
Although there are definitely taste differences in McDonald's if you go over to other countries.
Yeah, well, I remember being in Burger King over in Ireland with the malt you put on the fries. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's delicious, man. The malt vinegar.
Yeah, and then you can, totally, and dip them into mayonnaise. It's awesome.
Yes, which is like that's a totally different thing, but yeah. I mean, it's not a heart attack on a plate, mayonnaise and your fries.
I do that all the time.
I mean, it's good, but yeah, not.
The mayonnaise is so good, you can just drink it right out of the little container.
The little tube. I don't know if that's recommended.
Tube. It should have come in a little
packet.
Round thing. No, they're not in packet. No, it should have come in a little.
No, they had mayo packets things. Too. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you must have been. This must have been more recent then.
Probably, yeah.
No, because what they used to have is you squeeze you get little paper cups, and then you squeeze the ketchup or the mayonnaise into the cup by like pushing a plunger down in McDonald's.
Yeah, I think they were just out of that, but I know what you mean. That's the self-serve thing.
Yeah. Those are great because then otherwise you'd have to go through like a dozen little tiny packets.
Yes. Yeah, the packets are a little small.
The packets were really only meant for the drive-through, not for in-restaurant consumption.
But the malt vinegar is delicious on fries.
It is. It's always been delicious.
And mayo is good for everything. You make your grilled cheese with mayo on the outside.
Good for you. Yeah. Oh, totally. Totally. Yeah, mayo for grilled cheese is good.
It's good, too, in the air fryer. Put a little mayo on the outside and boom.
Oh, my God. I have toast that I can make in the air fryer.
Yeah.
Air fryer makes great toast.
Yes, they do.
Because they melt the cheese without browning the bread.
Now you know.
Mm-hmm.
Air fryers are very versatile.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think I have a Krups one or something like that. But I think the only thing I don't like about the air fryers is I wish they came in a microwave footprint.
Yeah. They're
because the roundness of them, which most of them are,
yes,
is less conducive to taking up space on the counter.
Yeah, and you can't just get rid of your microwave and hang your air fryer, which would probably
the air fryer is my air fryer is taller than the microwave, and it's round, but it's not obviously as wide as a microwave.
Correct. Yeah. We have one that's some knockoff brand, good. But it was the one that's been rated like number one for years on
number one knockoff brand.
Yeah, CNET or one of those. I forget the name of the, but it's one of these that I had never heard of the brand before. But we've been using it daily now for almost 2 years.
Yeah,
and it's still holding up.
Daily, you're frying food every day.
Air fry, yeah, man, like every morning. Bacon,
what do you eat, French fries every day.
Never.
You eat bacon every day. You're kidding?
No. A couple slices of bacon with breakfast
every day.
Most of the time, yeah.
Oh my god,
is that
bad? The Bears.
It's good for anything.
You put mayonnaise on the bacon.
No, should I? Would that be good? Dip the bacon in mayonnaise,
and then put sprinkle some cheese on top.
Oh, like Parmesan or something like that, or cheddar.
Yeah, no, I would say like mozzarella.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, that would get a little messy in the air fryer, but we could try that.
It could melt. Well, I mean, the bacon doesn't get messy in the air fryer.
Not really. I mean, the grease just goes underneath, and then you just pour it out, and boom.
Yeah, exactly. Totally goes underneath.
But for dinner, I mean, yeah, we get a lot of shish kebab from the local little grocer here who has a steak shish kebab.
Nice.
You just throw them in 12 minutes, they're done.
Now, is this your Irish side or your Polish side?
I don't know, both. the little the grocery store? It's just
the fried mayonnaise.
Well, no, you don't put mayonnaise in there. It's just
you don't fry the mayonnaise?
No. Can you fry mayonnaise?
Yeah, hell yeah.
You would have to somehow solidify it before you fried it. It's like fried ice cream. It's like, well, how do you do that?
Mayonnaise is made of eggs.
Yes, oil.
So there's nothing wrong with frying mayonnaise.
Right. But it's liquid, though. So in air fryers, it's not like you're dropping it into the oil. It's just air. So the mayonnaise would just melt.
You can make like
if you squirt mayonnaise
with mayonnaise on it.
Well, yes. Yeah, that you can do. And it will toast up nicely.
Yeah.
And then you could dip it again and make
Damn, now you get me hungry. I might have to run downstairs and make some. Yeah. During the podcast recording, let me run downstairs and make some mayonnaise toast.
You know, I do have that ability. I have wireless systems that I could just walk around the house while doing the podcast, which would be interesting as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean that stupid phone that sounds like crap that you have?
No. I mean, I have actual stuff that companies have sent me to test, both for monitoring
companies
audio.
Have sent you to test.
Yeah, for the YouTube channel, baby. I'm sure you've seen some of those.
I didn't even know you had a YouTube channel.
Yes, Darren O'Neill Reviews. I haven't done a lot recently.
Why would people send you shit to review?
Because I was a top 300 Amazon reviewer, and people wanted reviews.
How were you a top 300 Amazon reviewer?
That's how they rate.
Did you buy that much shit at Amazon?
No, it was actually funny story being that today was the release date of the Taylor Swift version.
Not the Red album.
Red. Yes. The first Red album. I did a review that I posted like the minute it went on sale, because I had a bootleg, of course, and allegedly. So I listened to the album and I wrote up a review on Amazon, and I was like everybody else at that point, 1 million, 5 million, whatever the rating was as an Amazon reviewer.
Mm-hmm.
But being the first glowing review pretty much showing up for Taylor Swift, who was very popular, all of a sudden got so many likes, I guess, so many upvotes, whatever they were calling them on Amazon at that time, that it just like propelled me up into the top, like 10,000 into the top 1,000. And once you were at that point, emails daily from people just wanting to give free stuff to get reviews.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, I did reviews on Amazon shit, but I never got popular at all.
And that was just by...
But most of my reviews were negative reviews.
We'll see that also, which it's good. I did a lot of negative reviews, even of the stuff that I got free, even though people think, you got it for free, you'll never do a negative review. It's like, well, no, I'll be honest. I don't care if I got it free. Getting it free is irrelevant, whether it's good or bad. It might give me a bias if it's a very expensive item. I understand that if you paid for it yourself, you might be more apt to be negative than if somebody sent it to you free and you're like, well, I'm underwhelmed. But I tried to take that into consideration when doing the review.
Oh, that's cool. But you haven't done anything lately?
Well, no, because Amazon killed right about the time my eyesight was failing and having surgery after surgery. that was right when Amazon decided to change and not allow companies to, on the above the table thing, give people products in order for them to be reviewed, which is why now I still get the same amount of offers, but it's all, we will send you PayPal if you give 5-star review. And I don't want to deal with that kind of crap.
No, that's a bullshit thing.
Yes.
Free stuff is one thing, but PayPal is a whole other mess.
This whole, you have to give us a 5-star review. And then it's like, no. I mean, I'm more than willing if people have a product, especially with having the YouTube channel. If you want to send it for free, I'll give it an honest go if it's something that's worth my time. But no, none of this. Oh, we'll pay you to do a 5-star.
Yeah. So here's a question, since this is all part of the episode and we're just about ready to wrap it up.
Yeah.
The question for people for, next time or whatever is, would you prefer that when we start doing video, and it'll for sure be on locals, but aside from locals, would you prefer it on YouTube or Rumble or something else or none of the above? And because you don't want to watch videos,
no agenda.
Let us know. Other than locals, which is obviously guaranteed to be on there, but other than that, what other video websites would you prefer the video to be on?
Now, if I'm voting, it's YouTube, just because that's where a majority of the eyeballs are. And then also Rumble and No Agenda Tube, because that's where you're really unlikely to get anything taken down.
Yeah, I think No Agenda Tube just for fun, because honestly, I mean, anything that I would watch on there, I would probably just watch on YouTube anyway. But I like Alex, who's the guy that's running it, and he has added streaming capabilities there as well.
Yes, I would like to test that out, the streaming. I
don't think it makes sense to be on Twitch, simply because Twitch has a lot less political shit and a lot more. I mean, there are just talking category or just hanging out category, but that's generally, 20-something girls talking about stupid problems rather than.
So if we're interviewing a 20-something-year-old girl, we could bring them in.
Oh, yeah. No, if I had the 20-year-old girl eating the food here on video, then we could totally be appropriate.
Ned recommends we do our video on MySpace and Pornhub. So I mean, we know where his viewing habits are.
We also know how old he is.
Yes. Yes. MySpace. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
What was the guy's
Joe Biden
name?
had a MySpace page.
Yeah, what was the guy's name on MySpace? Tom, right? That was everybody's first friend.
Yeah.
That was so sad.
It's kind of sad. Well, it's like, what's his face used to be on Facebook.
What's his name used to be on Facebook.
Yeah.
There was another one that was the same thing. I hardly ever use
it was the same
Facebook.
thing. Yeah. Well, when
like friend number one, were you Zuck? Was like your first buddy or something?
Zuck was your first buddy, because the whole point of doing Facebook for Zuck was getting laid. And so
that's why all guys do all things.
Basically, as the creator of the system, like, of course, he wants to be friends with every girl in the college that signs up for it.
That wasn't a bad idea when it was mainly the colleges.
No, it wasn't a bad idea at all. There was no monetization, though, with colleges. That was the real problem.
Once it was filled with octogenarians, then he was like...
Yeah, they needed to get the parents of the college students there, and then they could sell ads.
Yes, that's where the money is.
Or more importantly, that's when they would get people clicking on ads. Because the college students sure as hell weren't doing that. You realize that people that were college students when Facebook came out are now in their late 30s.
Yeah, that's right. And it still sucks.
Children.
Yeah, still. But that's, kind of what
all right, well, let's just get this thing wrapped up.
So that's all you got? The food's not even there yet, or is it?
No, food's still not here. Let me see if there's an estimate of time.
Is there a tracking number?
Telling me. They're telling me the food will be here at 2:30. So apparently putting a 0 tip does slow you down.
See? Oh my, it's going to get slower too. Now you'll see.
Get even slower?
It's going to get even slower. But
yeah, what do we get? 1:33 was the order time, and its estimate is 2:30. That's pretty fucking slow.
But we will be back next week. Probably, are we thinking Thursday for next week? Or Friday? What do you want to do next week?
Well, it depends. You planning on having any more people die?
I hope not. I hope not. That would be...
here's the thing. I think we're doing a once-a-week show.
Yes.
And
when we do it is not really all that relevant. We haven't yet
added video. No, it kind of is, but we haven't yet added video. So I think that our plan, Thursdays are easiest for me. So I would still continue to like to do it Thursday afternoons. We did get kicked off of being on the stream live on Thursday afternoons, but so be it. We'll have it live on YouTube or some other provider soon enough anyway.
Yes, or we can have an alternate stream on the No Agenda stream, which you would have to switch over, though.
Well, it'll
for those
be
that
somewhere
listen live, yes.
For people that want, let's put it this way. If you're listening live and even if you're not commenting, but if you're hearing this live instead of in a podcast recording, please do yourself a favor and go to our website at unrelenting.show. And there we will let you know for the future if and when the live stream is somewhere else.
Yes.
And it likely will be at some point.
Yes, for the Thursday post No Agenda shows. But
the plan is generally to record it around 3 p.m. Central Time-ish. So if you want to get the full pre-show, post-show stuff, that would be the time frame to tune in.
So we'll post that on the website and on Locals.
Absolutely. And of course, once the video is instituted, and maybe even before the video, we're going to start doing a link on Locals to hear the stream live, no matter who's hosting the stream or where it is.
Yes, and that'll be open for everybody as well. So if you're looking for it.
Correct. The stream will always be open for everybody, but the recordings of the pre-show and post-show will be only for supporters.
Yes, and I'll add that once we have that. Surly Mofo asking if it'll be on NA Social. Yes, I was just editing my bat signal here for the show earlier. So to have
we're both on NA Social, and we're certainly going to let people know on NA Social.
So right now, when the bat signal goes out, it gives the address for No Agenda stream. If that is somewhere else, then that will be switched in there.
But here's the thing to remember, guys. No Agenda stream, No Agenda Social. These are things that are really built for the show No Agenda.
Correct.
Plenty of other people use them, and that's fine. But since we're doing a thing on Locals, and we're trying to build a brand around this, which I think is the goal here. We will not be just simply sitting on top of the No Agenda bandwagon.
We're jumping off.
We're definitely going to be jumping off the No Agenda bandwagon. We still are very much listeners, and I mean, Adam and I talk on a regular basis. We're friends.
Adam still talks to you? Wow.
Yeah, he does. And the last time he talked was because he said, "Dude, I'm tired of the drama. Let's get drama fixed.
Drama free."
Yeah, that Daryl character just keeps bringing more and more drama all the time.
I don't know who Daryl is, so I'm glad it's not me.
He's a character that brings a lot of drama, apparently.
No.
So consequently,
I just
yeah, exactly. So consequently, just keep in mind that it's cool that we're on here right now. It's great being on No Agenda stream right now, but all things eventually come to an end and people move on. And that's how, look, mom and dad still love you. Just because they're not living together anymore doesn't mean that they love you any less.
Hey, it's exactly as Adam Curry talks about. With all of these things, any of them can disappear at any given time. We've seen that with Gitmo.life as one of the Mastodon servers.
Yeah. Which I'm still friends with the guy that runs that. We play video games together.
And we just want to be able to absorb anything. God forbid, No Agenda stream goes away or No Agenda Social goes away. We want to have a world beyond that. So this is, we're not leaving the one.
Forget about going away. I don't want to have somebody feel like I'm taking advantage of an infrastructure that they pay for. It's just that simple. It's like, if I'm just posting stuff on No Agenda Social, great. But if I'm posting a bunch of reminders for people to go to unrelenting.locals, I don't think that's appropriate. I think there should be a limit of what I do on No Agenda Social, and that is separate from things that are related to my show.
People just want you to stay clothed, Gene, in your photos.
Well, then don't go to OnlyFans. It's that simple.
But we will be back then.
So we will be back. But before we're back, I just reminded myself to talk about video games.
Did you just say you wanted to wrap this up? Now
I have to wrap it up. I have a hard stop in 4 minutes. But
okay, so we need a little video game. Okay, get some video game talk in.
Okay, you really did not need the music. Just a quick reminder to people that I have both been playing and trying to get other people to play Star Citizen lately, which is a really fun and incredibly gorgeous space game with super awesome 4K graphics. And right now is a very special time for that game because they just did a full reset, which if you've ever played any MMOs, you know what a full reset is. It's essentially when all the character accounts are wiped. Everybody loses all the stuff that they grinded for in game, which sounds like a horrible thing. And it kind of is to some extent, but plenty of everybody knew about it way ahead of time. But the cool thing is it means that everybody starts on an even playing field right now, building up their characters and ships and everything else. And that's really cool because this game's been out for many years and some people have amassed huge amounts of money in game. And other people who are just starting out just kind of could feel like, well, shit, I'll never get to where I want to go because people are so far ahead of me. Well, this full reset gives everybody an opportunity to start from scratch right now. That's number one thing. Number two thing.
So now's the time to jump in.
Now is a very good time as a new player to jump in for sure. Or even if somebody played it like 2-3 years ago and then left, it's a good time to come back. Number two thing kind of related to that is this month, starting on November 19th, is the annual ship show, which is basically like a car show where you can walk around, look at all the ships, get into them, really check
virtually
them out.
Get into
virtual them. Ships for sure.
You're not really in a showroom.
But it starts on the 19th and goes for, I think, 10 days, right around there. So it's really because most ships are not available in game. Like at any given point in time, only about 10% of the ships that exist are available for purchase. And during the show, you can buy any ship on the showroom floor.
Now, can they rent your ship from you?
Well, they can. They have. It's even better. Free ship rentals during those 10 days of the show.
Ooh!
So you can test out any ship before deciding to actually spend the money to buy it if you wanted to go that route.
Try before you buy, just like going to the gun shop.
It's a great, just like a gun shop. Yeah, it's a great deal. And the third part of it is right now, this month, sort of because this is a special month for them. If somebody signs up that's new to the game using my link, which is included in the show notes to sign up for the game, you will get a second ship for free this month only. You are buying your first ship essentially. So the game is $45 like any other video game, but part of that process is like, which ship do you want to start with? So you choose a ship, or do you want to, if you really wanted to, you could spend more than $45 and like upgrade your initial ship that you start with. But let's say you don't, you get cheapest thing available. This month, if you use my code, you'll get a second ship absolutely free. And the ship that you get was the ship voted ship of the year in a vote that the community took. So it's kind of a cool thing.
The USS Nevtuliev?
How'd you guess?
I'm just guessing.
It
seems like a game you're heavily invested in. So they should name everything after you.
I have donated a significant amount of money to this game as well. I'm not quite a Duke yet, but I am I believe I'm a major.
You're working your way there.
Yeah.
Any major dude will tell you, Gene.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah. Yeah. Any major dude will tell you. So we'll be back, we believe, next Thursday. Look for the bat signal. Does that make sense?
And we're out.